play PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
The damage reflects seem to be starting to win this battle here. They find themselves 2 knocks on a row.
Can they get a third miss? He's trying to get up there and fight going for his teammates, but more shots coming out towards him.
Took it cross, but look at the snakes. I'd be surprised to see Sirem not even more.
For them to make a mistake. Shark spots out. He takes a little bit of damage, but he's able to fire back. And here we go. 3D Mats have come alive. They managed to get inside the house. And look at this position he's got. He can try with a spray down. So much damage coming in here. He's only able to get the knock on to one. His teammates need to reply with CRM as well. 3D Mats Sharp able to get it done. And what a fantastic
Levi coming in strong. Knocking down Maniac again.
That's huge. Damage being done for the players who jumps in the water. Just starting to push out now. M19, like he's just chilling. Tapp's got massive high down to work on. Sonic's going to be found by two, but that's another kill lit up for them. And he's heard what's going on, but he can't fight in this blue. He cannot afford to take this damage. He's being tapped away, and that's an easy kill for Unique to find. Unique now looking to deliver it, but the circle's working out very well here. Kuma takes some extra damage. It's a back and forth here, and just a heal off. Unique going to take the damage. Kuma's going to take the win.
Nade through, and he managed to get the nade through the roof. I'm loving this play.
Oh no, Lord Forgo has no idea what's going on. Shots coming out towards him. He does actually manage to get a knock. He might get the finish off as well. He does. Yasha, what are you doing? There you go. Yasha finds it.
And Storm, they're just racking up the kills. They have one of the two compounds left in the zone. You know, there's not much you can do at this point.
He can play this well. They could be the team with the best position coming in.
So they just want like no repeat to see them, so they just have to worry about the teams below them. And that they 14 kills already. They do have 2 people knocked.
He's so confident. Oh my god. What a play. Runs around the tree.
Even Obstruction 8 already.
But Oldboy still believes he can hang in there and make it work. But he's getting another kill. Starts giving some pressure. He's trying to dance around the rock. He comes out into it. Is he going to get it? Oh my god. The outnumbered. One player knocked down straight away. It's not looking good.
Super far away from the sun. Big.
Because at the moment, rest are firing away, and more shots come in. When they're down one man, they're still looking to fight. So they are confident as always. They're beautiful.
All right, they showed a lot of good signs of life here for the Team Romania.
Now Unique. Find themselves getting their first player knock. They're able to reply out one. How much can they hold on to here? Damage being done. Bolters are spraying through, but he's eating bullets through the smoke. He can't see where he's shooting or who he's shooting at. He's trying to hold on to it. The spray and pray isn't going to work out. They find themselves into an interesting 2-on-2. Styx walks into the hut, walks into his death, and leaves Baltazar all alone.
I love it.
Romania trying to push up. They find Sorka, puts into a 3v2. All the shots come in. Drops down, instantly missing, came back up, but goes back down. It's all up to Hopper. Can he pull it off? No, he can't. It's time for more PUBG Mobile Club Open action, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Some of these teams are going to be fighting right to the wire today to ensure themselves points that will enable them to potentially make it further through here for the European region. As always, you've got myself, James Banks, and Matthias Larson to take you through all the action, but this is where some of these teams, Larson, are going to seriously be doubting themselves and maybe playing a little bit differently now, coming to the last 2 days where they have to make it to that top 8 spot.
Yeah, and we're going to see it go down to the wire. One team we mentioned briefly yesterday was 3D Max. They were all the way at the bottom. I believe they were at the bottom 4. And after yesterday, they really showed up. And now they're like, they have a lot more safety net. One team that we were a little bit disappointed with in week one was Team Unique. They find themselves at number 2 of the leaderboard now. And we're starting to see some of the teams that we were expecting a lot from. Just because they had an organization, they must have had some approvals, some big achievements in the past. And we're starting to see them show up.
And this is what's crazy, right? When you talk about Team Unique there, they are in second place, but not just off placements. Yes, they've had good games, but they have the most kills out of any team so far. And you spoke about this ever so often. Oh, yes, placement points. They mean so much because they are heavily stacked for placements. But you can easily, if you have some incredible games like we saw Unique do yesterday, rack themselves up enough points to really turn it around. As you look at the placement points here, and multiple times we saw Unique get into a top 6 position, but it was always alongside a lot of kills that came into play. And that's what started to impress us yesterday and kind of show us where they currently sit. Now, currently we still have White Pulse at the moment in first place with 178 points total. Then we've got Team Unique in second, Welcome to the Lobby in third, EpicGang in fourth, and then we go on to Golden Boys, Avangar, DM99, DMStorm, all very close with just a few points separating them, which means that this is still anyone's game, even at the very top of the table, but it's these bottom teams where we're going to lose a good section of our teams now, where it's going to start to struggle this little bit more. Now, we are on day 2, and we're going to be starting off with Sanhok once again, Vikendi as our second match, and then, as always, 2 games of Erangel, and we love to see it, because we get the first 2 matches where it's a little bit more chaotic. Some teams prefer Vikendi, some teams prefer Sanhok, but then we get the tried and tested Erangel that everyone knows and loves, but some of these teams, they can't catch a break on it.
And now we're starting to get further in, right? All of these teams will have seen where teams up to go.
Yeah.
So everybody have played Sanhok by this time. Everybody played Vikendi twice now. And teams that have done their homework, they will know where teams tend to land and how they adapt to the lobby. And we'll see some of the teams that put in the most preparation, right? They should be able to find their own loot spots now, whereas in the first week and, well, yesterday, we saw that teams might have been fighting a lot more early on, but this can be avoided with the right amount of preparation, right?
Exactly that. Now, there's a lot of teams on the edge here, right, including BemyLoot in 14th place, M19 in 13th place, just outside of this, but there's so many teams hot on their heels that could really kind of steal away a spot. For example, 3D Max, you said they were right at the bottom. They now currently sit in 18th place with 96 points to play with. All they need is a couple of good games there, and they jump right up, and they avoid themselves of this dangerous relegation spot, because we're only going to have 16 teams go through at the end of week 2. And that's what's wild. From 32 to 16 is really going to crush it out. These top 8 teams at the moment, they're going to be feeling very confident, but it's the next 8 teams from 9 to 16, they're going to be sat there saying, well, wait a second, we can still kind of go down. And here we have it. This is it on your screen at the moment. The top 8 teams, look how close some of these points are. Just one good game and you could jump your way almost nearly to the top.
Yeah, and like we mentioned yesterday, 3D Max, they started on 16 points, and you said they were 96, so they got 80 points throughout 4 games. That's
I'll take
good.
that. I'll take that. That's a happy...
And I'm pretty sure 3D Max didn't even have a win. They were just consistently getting towards the end and having a fair few kills as well.
Off memory, it was a 3rd place on Sanhok, and then it was like, I think again, top 3 when it came to Vikendi, and then they had the 2nd place finish as well because they snaked it around, and then another 3rd place. So it was consistent across the board for them. Kuma, the team we speak about ever so often, a team that has an interesting strategy, an interesting way to sometimes approach the game, but they have managed to pull off some significant games, but maybe just not as kill heavy as some of these other teams, and it starts to show there with the 15 on the board.
They're by far the lowest amount of kills in the teams. And like we pointed out many times, at least myself included, it's like, all right, placement points are heavy, right? But if you don't kill off the enemy teams, you won't get the high placements. And then you're just going to be stuck like in the middle or low middle. And some of these teams here, I mean, Flex, look at how many kills they have in comparison to the people around them.
Now, OBS, right, we speak about then Obstruction. They were a team on the first week that we were like, oh my God, this is looking so good for them. Surely they're going to be within the top 16. Just there, you see them right on the edge of it, not looking too good at all in 19th. Now, it's not impossible to come back from that, but yesterday, they got finished early on in almost every single game, bar the last one, and even then, I think it was only like a top 12 finish.
Did you see how many total points they had? Because I recall yesterday, they had 80 points in total.
94 now.
So they managed to only accumulate 14 points throughout the entirety of yesterday.
Yeah.
That is like, what, the top 6, 7 finish, and you get 14 points alone, and they got that.
Yep, that was a
4 games
tough day
total.
for them. There was multiple. Oh, I think there was one game they went out in like 14th. One they were like down to 2 players very early on as well. It was tough for them. And then some of these teams right at the bottom, unless they win every game today with high kills, you're not getting out of this. This is it. You're done and dusted already. And I think the one thing is, it's not to be so much overcritical on some of these teams that are here now at the bottom of the standings. It's more to say you came, you saw, you've now learned something. You have to go back, apply it to your game, and continue to push forward. You should never give up just because you've had a bad game or a bad tournament, because there's plenty more coming here from PUBG Mobile.
Definitely. And if you're also at home watching, you're thinking, hey, me and my friends are a lot better than some of these teams. Then you can go and apply yourself, like when the next time they open up spots for a new tournament. All of these teams here, no invites, everything is qualifications. And the only thing these guys have done is they just signed up online.
Yep, they competed, they took part, and this is where they've got themselves to. And also, there could be significant factors, right? When we speak to some of the players, it could be they've had a really busy week at work or something like that. Some of them who maybe are just focused full-time on the game. You could have personal issues. There's all these things that come into it from being a high-level player that can affect your game, which is why we spoke about it before. Some of these teams have 5-man rosters. They have an extra player that can jump in just in case that happens. And that's ensuring that they don't have to play games where they're kind of down and out of it, or they have a player who's not able to perform up to the standard he would normally perform and causes them problems. And that's where it gets really kind of into the real crux of it all, because there's so much more on offer.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, right, PUBG Mobile, I would call it a very new esports in terms of just esports in general. We don't see, well, like 20 orgs sign their teams yet. It's very, very new. And like you said, right, you might have some subs, not everybody can play full time, but if you want to get into it, it's so much easier when it's a new esports, right?
Exactly.
So this year alone, there's $2.5 million up for grabs. And if you put in the effort, you might actually just place yourself up there, or at least, you know, get a real shot at it and get a feeling of it.
And I think, right, the reason we've got orange behind us is just because all that money just lighting the way for all these teams to be super flamed up and keep it going. Because honestly, right, we've seen many titles come along and say, yep, we're going to have an esports league now. We're going to start things up, maybe go a little bit slow, maybe throw a bit of money at it. But this, for PUBG Mobile, they've come and solidified themselves and said, well, wait a second, PUBG on PC, it's doing well. We're seeing all the leagues and stuff come up. Why can we not do it on PUBG Mobile? And there is such a great community on PUBG Mobile. One thing we have learned from this as well, we've been speaking to you guys in Twitch chat, we've seen the comments posted online, we've seen it on the Discord channels and stuff like that. There is so many passionate PUBG Mobile players. And these guys are just happy to see that actually it's getting noticed now, right? They've been playing this for ages. Some of them are streamers, some of them are YouTubers, and they are providing quality content. But also, they're now sitting here and going, hey, look, we've got a real tournament structure. We've got some exciting games. We're now getting teams to actually have a way to prove themselves. And this is what it comes down to. Now, we said this yesterday. We've literally been reached out to by various organizations to say, well, wait a second, any teams that you recommend, any teams you're highlighting that I think are maybe worth getting on a team who aren't signed yet? And I think once we get to the end of this week, that's when we really start to say, okay, there's some teams that you should be looking at, because if you've made it from top 32 to 16, and I've seen some comments, and we've been harsh as well, some of these teams in the top 32, they're not playing the best style, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe too aggressive, sometimes just random drop spots, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're learning from it as a team and as players. But also it shows us that the level is very different, because we see some very highly stacked lobbies, and then sometimes some easier lobbies that come into it. But when we get to our final 16, that's what I can't wait for, Lars. And that's where we're going to see the real dominance come out, because certain teams won't get away with the same style as what they have done in these previous games.
No, definitely not. And one thing I just want to point out is the format I'm a big, big fan of, because we have 4 different lobbies, 32 different teams. Prior in PUBG esports in general, we just had 16 teams, the same teams battling over and over. And, you know, then the early games get kind of boring in the sense that everybody knows what they're doing. But I really love what PUBG Mobile have done here by taking all these lobbies, mixing them up all together, different teams every day playing, and it's just really, really interesting way of doing it, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't give teams the sense of security that they always have a thing to go to, and it just enforces you to take so much more preparation in coming in, saying, all right, instead of prepping for just 15 other teams, we now need to look out for so many more teams. And it's, I don't know, I love watching it. I think it's also way more fun as a player to play against. And also, since we have thus many teams on the broadcast, it also gives the players a better chance of saying, all right, maybe you're in a team that is not doing so hot, but if you as a standout player keep doing good and good over and over again, at least my advice, if you're a player, all right, you maybe have 3 friends, but if you really want to move up in the scene, if you do really good, then this might be a gateway for them to join maybe some better team, right?
Yeah, exactly that, right? Because you may say, oh, we're on a team, and they might be just friends, for example, right? I remember, this is going way back, right? I'm going to just show my age here for a second. I started playing professional level of games in Counter-Strike back in 2003. Some of you may be watching, probably weren't born then, potentially. I've had it and seen it before. But what was crazy then was, the way I started off was 4 friends from school. We were all just friends. We wanted to play the game together. And luckily for me, I stood out a little bit more, and the team approached me and said, hey, do you want to come play? It can work out like that. And if you are one of these players, like, now Unique, they're probably not going to do this, but just use an example of Old Boy yesterday, his individual intelligence and the way he approached the situations that were handled to, that he enabled to get extra kills, get them higher placement points, that was so key for them to enable that kind of mini victory, not in terms of winning the actual game, but just high placement, staying alive and beating out some of the other teams. That alone, if he was on a team that then got eliminated, I'd be looking at that and saying, okay, I want this player. Yeah. He's going to be mine right now. I'm going to take him into my squad because I've seen a player that I've got maybe not so strong right now. Maybe we need to swap him out, or maybe we just need to add a player and have 5 on the roster like we were talking about earlier. But I would certainly say after yesterday, he proved to be the MVP, right?
Definitely. It was game and again. And I think he had also, he had like above 5 kills every game.
Okay.
So it's like 5, 7, and 10. And then last
Other
game
than
he
the
died
last
early.
game.
But when he died early, we did see some of his other teammates then pick it up, right?
Yeah, and that's what's interesting.
And the interesting thing about these star players, right? They won't be able to do what they do without having support from some of his other teammates.
There we
so
go.
while he's alive, all right, he might be the one who's getting all the easy kills sometimes, in the sense that, all right, if he's focusing on people running in from the blue, somebody has to watch his flank. If everybody just shoots at the guys that are in the blue, or maybe like, what I would call easy kills, then you do need somebody to watch your back, because if you're not worried about your flanks, then if you're just 4 guys tunneling towards one place, then it's so easy to get run up upon.
And that's the thing, right? And that's a really good point you're making there, Larson, is that, okay, we look at players and you go, oh, he's got loads of kills, he must be great. But as an in-game leader, sometimes you have to have players that play almost like a sacrificial position in terms of, okay, you're going to be the guy who's taking point on this. So you're the first one engaging, which might mean you get knocked down more, which means then your teammates pick up the kills. They still revive you and trade you out, but you don't get the credit on as many times. People aren't going, oh, he did really good, he ran out and died. But actually, he played a critical role in enabling them to take that fight in the way they did. So there's a lot of like micromanagement being placed there. And that's why you can never say in these kind of games where it's very team-focused that one player wins it, because there is so much else going on in the background. We saw Yasha yesterday on that final game, right? He stepped up for Unique, and what he did was he played really far at the back. He was doing a lot of damage. He wasn't picking up every single kill, but what he was keeping everyone at bay from their compound. He was in one window shooting down to the south, coming back out, shooting off towards the west. No matter what was happening, this guy was engaging. Now, the rest of his team were taken into fights, but he was able to provide so much cover fire, which was vital in them having a good position at the end.
Yeah, and that's how it's done, right? That's why I personally, and you also, we keep pointing out teamwork, teamwork, teamwork.
Oh, yes.
We don't want to see people just running off on their own, doing, trying to be a hero, trying to get a highlight clip, whatever. All right.
Sadly, that's me. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fun and all. But if you you make it far into a tournament, it's really important that you have teamwork. You have people, all right, he's going to stay in the back. He's going to make sure nobody is coming from the side. Some people can, just always focus on shooting things and having fun and, run away with the spotlight sometimes. But that's just how it is, right? But it all comes down to you need to have teamwork. You need to have synergy. And the only way you close out the games is by, playing together as a squad, always pushing together, and just make sure you don't move too far from your teammates.
Now, one thing I'm going to say before we just head to a break is we've got to have a little bit of a setup here. We're getting all of the players in the server, getting them ready. It's taking a little bit longer this time. Communication is key to success, and teamwork is key to winning. We'll see you guys after this break.
PUBG, all right. If you go a little bit too fast, there's a very big chance of crashing. And if you go too
We saw
slow,
it yesterday.
you go too slow, you can be shot at your vehicle. I hate when you're like, you never want to put your entire team trust in one guy's ability of driving. And
3D Max have.
what do you mean? What are you guys doing? We're praising you. Stop it.
Secretly, they're just listening to us and they're like, I know how to tilt Larson. We'll stick forward.
So one thing I want to point out is we saw on your screen briefly was welcome to the lobby, I believe. One of our top teams, and we also have seen Unique is in this lobby. What we didn't get to see last game is that Unique and Welcome to the Lobby, they were out as the first 3 teams in our previous match.
Yeah.
And they've been like top 5 in the leaderboards overall. So it's a shame we didn't get to see what they've been doing, but those are 2 teams I'm also looking out for today, right? Because they've been doing really good thus far.
Yeah, there's so many teams in this lobby, this group A and D, which has made this very interesting for me to look at Avangar, how well they can do, OBS, CRM even showed us signs of life, 3D Max obviously, Unique, and welcome to the lobby. They're starting to push forward, they're looking to try and hunt some teams down, and it's Storm there, 4 in a vehicle, and this is where it is scary, you've got to be careful. You never know what you're going to run into.
I really wanted them to blow up and die right there in the spot just to have my point proven, but they do lose out on 1 member here. So not the end of the world for them, but I mean, you never want to lose anyone. And welcome to the lobby. They're happy. They're enjoying it. You know. Could you imagine if they managed to blow up the vehicle?
If they did that, that would just prove our point perfectly, and we could sit here as the God mode analysts of how it can work out. But I'm sure any of you guys that have played at home at one point have sat there and had your vehicle blown up. But if you've got multiple people in, it's not the way you want it to go down. And rest, they're playing it smart. We've got a couple of vehicles to play with. We can split it up, and we can try and just take a little bit of further control.
This is one thing that obsessed me, James. When airdrops lands really far into the water.
It's mine.
All right, so I don't know how many solo public games you played, but if you go down and get a boat and go get the airdrop, there'll always be some beep camping the beach so you can't get way back there. And you're like, I really want the airdrop, but if I leave my vehicle now, there's going to be somebody camping me when I go back, and it's such a nuisance to do.
Yeah, I'm like the guy who says, team, you go on without me. I see this nice airdrop over here. I think I want to go take it. Not always does it work out. Often, like you said, someone's just waiting and saying, haha, who's foolish enough to go for it? But every now and again, it can play off into your hands. I certainly wouldn't recommend it in a pro-level game like this either.
But airdrops, James. I have an addiction to airdrops. They're really bad for me. Whenever I see one, it's like a magnet. I'm getting pulled towards them.
Quite literally bad for your health.
Yeah, I keep dying whenever I go there. I don't know.
The price you pay.
It's like a love-hate relationship, right? When you get it and survive, you're really, really happy, and otherwise you're like, oh.
The thing is, that's what happens, right? If you ever do get it and you sit there and you go, oh, it's worked out, then it gives you that false confidence that, oh, it's going to work out next time. Then you die and you're like, maybe I should stop doing this. And then next time you get it and you're like, oh, look, I'm the god.
All right, we get to see our next zone here. Where's it going to go? Who's going to favor? It's going to favor everyone as it goes straight to the center.
You can't complain about that, right?
I want to complain about that. I want to see it mess up as many teams as possible. I want to see them go through hell.
Well, the thing is, what it is going to do is force some of these teams now who are just on the outside to say, all right, do we try and challenge for some of these compounds, or do we just hold our position? Do we just chill out a bit?
All right, so one thing I've seen a lot in Vikendi is until we get to Circle 5 and onwards, it's very like center circles. It's nice and relaxed. So what do you want to think about as an in-game leader here, right? All right, you see the first circle, you know that 4 circles later it's going to be kind of centered, but after Circle 4, Circle 5, then it starts to hard shift drastically. Would you try to go towards the middle, or would you be a team that's content to sitting towards the edge and just hoping it favors you? If you sit towards the edge, you can always guarantee that you'll never lose any vehicles because you probably won't be contested that heavily. And look at Rust. Do you think they might be interested? At an airdrop, at a compound where they see no one? I would be interested, as we do see one player approaching it here. And AOG, one thing for me always when I go for airdrops is the level 3 armor, level 3 helmet. It just makes you able to survive a few more bullets, and very often that can save you.
Now, one thing that's very interesting, right? We saw this work out for 3D Max last time, and we saw it even better for Unique, where airdrops land near him when you're getting to that final circle. And he was just able, I think it was Unique, wasn't it? It was
our MVP player, Old Boy.
Yeah. So Old Boy the player we were praising. One of the reasons he was able to do so well is because he got the level 3 gear, able to upgrade himself a little bit, and he could just stand there and fight and tank out a few more bits of damage.
It's absolutely huge. Here, right, we've seen the circle. It almost didn't shift, and these guys are still on the edge. That I'm always so confused about, James. Why do you want to stay near the edge when the circle updated a while ago?
Maybe they know that how many teams fight in the blue that they're just still waiting and they're saying, they're going to come through eventually. But this time around, at least, people are kind of avoiding it as much as possible, trying to play a bit smarter in that sense.
I'm just personally, I don't want to move when the blue's coming. Okay, if you're in a heated situation, you're under a lot of pressure, then it might happen sometimes. But here we're talking about Circle 2. They were under no pressure whatsoever. I don't know. Not a big fan. Here we see teams just having a good time. You know, they're probably ordering some food, drinking some beverages, or maybe actually playing PUBG Mobile.
Okay, so these two teams, BKB and the Ottomans, sat in the same locations as they started with. Haven't had to move just yet, but they've also not engaged. Now, there was a point where it looked like BKB were potentially going to have to fight him, but this time it hasn't come into fruition, which means at least now they're saying, all right, you can have a bit of space. But eventually, when they both have to rotate, who's it going to benefit more? Which way is going to have to go in front of who? Like, how's it going to work out? That's what it's going to come down to.
I'm afraid they'll just avoid each other and run each separate way, but we'll see. Welcome to the lobby. They've been chilling here for a long time. We get a new circle update. My prediction is it's going to center James.
Ooh.
Fight me.
Double center. I'm going to go for hard shift south, and the survey says... Ooh, okay.
I told you, until circle 5, it's literally just center upon center upon center. And I'm really, I mean, it is what it is. I don't find it fun, though.
BKB are now going to have to push into the Ottomans. They should be able to just take the ground. It shouldn't be too bad.
But right, when you go to the north side of Podvosto, the water should be iced off, so you can literally cross the river with vehicles, on foot, and you don't even have to swim. So if they decide to go north around, they could avoid the Ottomans here. Otherwise, they have to cross a bridge. Me and bridges, we don't really go hand in hand. I stay far away from them. We'll see if BKB decides to do the same. Another airdrop landing right next to Rest. They probably seen this. Do you think they're going to go for a second one? That's going to be really, really, really greedy. Oh, there's a Groza, though. The Groza is so powerful. But, you know, going this far away from your compound to be greedy? Wait, do we see a guy in a vehicle moving over? We do.
Oh.
They're going to have 2 airdrops, an AUG and a Groza, and 2 times 4 level 3 gear. I mean, the risk versus reward, you got to say, these guys, they're not scared, right?
Definitely not. They went out for it and said, all right, if we can get a couple of airdrops, this gives us a huge opportunity to work our magic and work our luck. Take some fights and kind of win it out over some teams that might not be as well geared.
Yep, here we see DM. I believe in the first week they were called 99 Problems, and now they changed the name to DM99, which is a foreign language, and I'm not good with that, so I'm not going to try to pronounce their name. But interesting to see them change the tags over, you know, from first week to this week.
I can't make my Jay-Z puns and sing any songs now.
Right, we were having a good time with that.
Yeah. 99 Problems and wins are certainly one. That was a good one.
They had a decent day yesterday, and I can't remember the first game. Right, they got caught in the blue and actually got eliminated quite early on Sanhok, so they're looking to do better here. We do see some shopping as Sharp. Some fighting as we see Sharp getting taken down here early on. It's just a knock, so we don't know if he's going to get taken out. BemyLoot, they're on top of a mountain. They're just chilling up here, enjoying the view, taking a few pop shots. But even if you knock somebody at this range, you most likely won't finish them. Here, this fight, it's a long-range engagement, so, I mean, alright, you can trade some meds, you can maybe take off a helmet, but ultimately you won't be able to finish them, as we can see Sharp there. He gets rest, and he's healing up.
And that's the thing, right? K can do a lot of damage from this position, but ultimately getting the kills is going to be the hard one. And 3D Max, okay, yes, you're slightly pinned down, but it's not the end of the world just yet. The problem is now that you don't really want to allow too many players to get knocked out and downed. And actually, DM are now getting involved. So that's 2 teams engaging with 3D Max. And that means 3D Max going to find themselves under some heavy pressure early on here in Phase 3, while we've still got 59 players alive.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in this position at 3D Smacks in. As we can see on the screen, both the vehicles are either taken out or heavily damaged. I don't know if that Dacia is still moving. I think it is, but we can see black smoke coming out of it. So getting 4 people into that and to start driving it is extremely dangerous.
I'm trying to find some cover behind the vehicles, but Matic from DM and Rob Deeney are sat there just tapping away long range as 3D Max are going to have to pray that the circle benefits them here.
Boom. Where's 3D Max on our map here?
Keeps him in. Keeps him in. It's going to force K a little bit to move, but not too far out of that compound. They should have enough cover, at least for now. As more players from 3D Max are able to provide some cover fire, but instantly getting knocked down. Now untouched. He's got to do a great bit of work as the car is slowly walking away from them.
Oh, you hate to see it.
He's like, I want to revive, but they're potentially going to be in the open. I need to drop a smoke down.
This is such a tough spot for 3D Max. And
the meds alone.
Yeah. Look at this. Oh no. They are looking like they're getting all the rests up here. But what are they going to do after this? Using all your meds, all your armor, all your utility. Like we've seen them use tons of smokes now. They're probably going to be all out after this engagement here. And I want to see if they can disengage, right? You don't want to be near K here. But on the other hand, they were getting engaged by DM. Another airdrops comes in. I don't think anybody will go for this. We're almost into Circle 5. The circle is a lot smaller. It's going to be a lot more dense. So you'll have teams all around you. And you can't just leave your compound going for that extra care package, even if you decide to do so. For some reason, 3D Max is still thinking around. I want to see them just turn around here. We do see some training going on here. FTP, they crashed the compound, they have a knock, but I believe they just got shot by up the hill by Avangar, maybe a few shots from Epic, they were going to get the rest. Look at this airdrop, it's kind of close to Cream, but I don't think that Cream has seen it, right? They're just chilling in a building. We saw them lose one player early on when he got picked up by Asterion, I believe it was. I could be wrong. A team that's fighting here is FTP and Asterion.
Not inside the circle yet either.
No.
And this is where the Blues can do some serious damage, and I don't think they can really afford to take here. And the problem is, if they want to try and rotate, they either try to go around this rock, or they're going to go straight into FTP. So they are going to opt to go through the rock, but this damage is going to be very, very bad.
But it looks like FTP, they were called with only 2 members here, while we saw 2 other drive to a compound, right?
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Who knows? But FTP losing 2 here, our 3rd place team in the first game. And they're also doing pretty good on the overall standings. I believe they're top 16 at least. Asterion, a team that has not been super good. They had a decent first game of today. Maybe they can carry it on. We'll see. Doesn't look like they have any people holding them down, at least for now, as the entire eastern side here is completely free. So they're going to have a good time, and they're going to have the circle as well.
Asterion catching a huge break there. Just about pushing out, avoiding the 2 members of FTP that had them closed down, even watching one of them die out to the play zone. Now keeping 4 alive and being within the circle without having to move. And you've also got a compound. That is huge. BKB up here, though. We spoke about them earlier. They may have lost 1 player, but they believe they can do some damage. Tomato, the key player I pointed out, he's found himself dropped.
BKB here, they're as far away from the circle as they can possibly be, as we see here. I believe it's Ottomans and Storm, they're clashing into each other. Ottomans getting the better of the trade thus far, and they're looking to get an engagement opening here.
Now, welcome to the lobby. Have also come into this. They're going to go up against BKB. We were thinking BKB and Ottomans are going to go for head-to-head. That's not going to happen just yet. There's Mackie from Avangar. He's in a tough spot here.
Avangar fighting against BemyLoot. I actually like saying that, right? But we'll see if they can turn Avangar into their loot. Right now, they're both just sitting at the edge of the new safe zone, trading back and forth as Gonzo is still down. It looks like the beating subs is getting revived right now. Nate's being tossed back and forth. BLL, they need to start committing here, though, or disengaging, because they're stuck in the open, whereas Avangar, they're safe inside of a compound for now.
DGR there on the right-hand side of your screen. Some bullets came out towards him. Narrowly missed him. He avoids it. He's got to try to avoid that grenade as well. Gonzo was low on health. And what's very interesting is here, Avangar have a better position, but they're not that confident to go and poke out and take the shots just yet, which is strange for a team like Avangar, who we have praised for being able to instantly get involved in these fights when they want to. As we're going to get a replay here, a very good one of the Ottomans coming in and dealing a lot of damage. Music to my ears. A brilliant way for him to get that done. Manages to get the first kill in. The teammate doesn't react, doesn't get the refrag, and Ottomans are able to take full control of it.
And look who joined the fight here. Welcome to the lobby. They managed to crash the same compound as BemyLoot. And Avangar's fighting. We see Billy here pushing in on his own. He needs the backup of his teammates. He can't do this alone.
Key shots coming in. He's able to do so much damage. Gonzo's found himself knocked, as has DGR. Avangar can't catch a break, but welcome to the lobby. Have got the grenades in hand, and they're going to be on the cleanup duty. They want all the kills. What can Carla do to defend? It's him and one teammate to try and work it out. They're going to try and pull off some of these revives, and it's all going to come down to timing. Welcome to the lobby. They're aggressive, they're hungry, but they may not be pushing all the way in. They know there's still a few players to deal with. This is an awesome way to third party it as Bandita goes down to the fire, burns alive, and BML are still able to wipe out Avangar.
Avangar just getting caught in the middle of these two teams here. Hate to see it. That's 2 poor performances in a row for Avangar, but I love what Welcome to the Lobby does, right? They see 2 teams fighting, they're like, alright, we want to get into the zone here, and we can take this fight, as we see both BML and I believe Welcome to the Lobby, they're 4 men strong right now. They could be 3 at Welcome to the Lobby, I only see 3 on the screen, but...
Now what's interesting, right, Avangar went down, but they had the compound. The problem was, they focused so much on BML that as soon as Welcome to the Lobby came into it, it was like, uh-oh, where do we look, where do we turn? And I don't think the communication seemed to be quite there. We have got 4 members of Welcome to the Lobby all taking that fight. 3D Max still keeping themselves up. Some players being knocked down, struggling a little bit here to continue to push forward. Great coverage of the map in terms of smokes to help them push forward, but they now need to deliver the kills to try and take this fight and edge their way a little bit further forward here.
Alright, so one team that's been struggling, we showed briefly, OBS, they're in the center of the zone, they're hopefully going to stay alive now for a long time. We have 12 teams right now. After this zone, I expect we're going to be below 7, as we see kills everywhere. Unique on top of a fight, FTP is taking down BML as they're trying to get it into the zone. Here we see Ottomans engaging onto K.
So many little fights as we get into phase 6. A lot of damage being done here. OBS actually coming alive, dealing the damage onto Ottomans. Untouched from 3D Max has found some of the DM players. It is kicking off across the board. Multiple players going down. Nades coming out. 3D Max got to be oh so careful because that was a double nade coming in to knock their players. And DM might be finishing them off ever so soon. I think they've only got 1 player left alive.
Welcome to the lobby here. We see on the screen they're also crashing onto OBS. Can OBS hold on to dear life here? So far there's just a bunch of shots being fired back and forth. Nobody's dying right now. The last member of BML crashes the same compound as Epic. No, Welcome to the Lobby and OBS.
This is just a monstrous fight, and the problem is it's not really going to benefit many of these teams because they are losing players. They're losing space to work with here.
How is this PLL member just running past 2 teams surviving thus far?
He's like, I can hide, I can chill.
He literally ran in between those 2 teams in the same building and managed to get away. Do you think he has a disguise on?
He's like, I'm one of you guys, I promise.
Have you ever done that? Tried to like sneak up and play with another team and like pretend to be friendly with them?
Follow them for a while, like, hey guys, I'm part of the team.
I've occasionally gotten into enemies' cast and then like played with them and then they don't notice that you're actually the enemy. I don't know if this is the case, but he somehow manages to hold on to dear life.
Yeah, he's still up and alive for now, but for how long, that is the question. OBS, this is probably one of the better positions they've had in the last couple of days, and it may seem weird to say because there's still 9 teams in it, but they've had a really bad day. So this is going to be a thing where we can say, okay, OBS, maybe you can bring that old skill back up. But look who's lighting up the scoreboard. It's Unique. Yasha, Old Boy, up on it again, and they're looking to have a good game after that struggled first game we saw there on Sanhok.
Right, and we're down to 9 teams, a bit more than I anticipated, but we see how many teams are in all of these compounds and they all have to leave soon. And if they don't make a move now, right, they're just going to be caught up by the blue and they're going to have a terrible time. I'm talking about OBS, I'm talking about Epic, I'm talking about Welcome to the Lobby, and all these teams that are not in the zone but are sharing compounds, they're going to have really, really rough time when the circle starts to shrink. One team that's loving life is Unique. They have all 4 men standing, they are up to 4 kills already, they have vehicles, and they're covering so much ground. They're going to deny people access if they can. And looks like they're approaching onto Epic here, you know, just taking away as much space as they can from them, denying them from pushing up to them. OBS, they're not worried about the teams in their compound, and this is what I'm saying. The blue's going to start shrinking in 20 seconds. Alright, he gets knocked, but in 20 seconds, they're going to have to fight all these teams around them.
I need to ask CC Macaw how he says his name because it makes me think of a parrot noise. Unique though, Kitsune able to do some further damage, long-ranging it up. Yasha was pushing forward in the car, as we saw earlier on. Just tapping away, trying to rattle off these shots and rest. They can't catch a break. The Blues doing a lot of damage. We're at phase 7. Kitsune is going to be able to do so much here, putting in the work and putting rest to bed. This is not what they would have wanted to see, and Unique back on it. I'd love to see how many kills they have right now.
I believe they have 6 kills, but I mean, they're racking them up here. Here we see Welcome to the Lobby probably getting the better of OBS because OBS just stayed in the building and Welcome to the Lobby can hold outside. They are losing a lot of members, so I don't know if we're down to 2v1 at this point. Now we're down to a 1v1. We see BemyLoot. He's in the blue. He wants to get the best of this.
Taking damage. Can he hold it on?
Come on.
Oh my god! He walks away with 1 kill, but he'll die out to the zone regardless. He tried to hold on for OBS, but once again, they were a little bit too slow on moving away. And this is where you have to be so careful. You can't just hang around. We quickly went from 8 to 5 teams within a few, like 30 seconds, I'd say. Now, Unique, out in the open, they're using the cars for cover. You love to see it, Larson. Smokes are down as well. They're trying to push forward. They don't even have a compound to work out of yet, but they know how to play this. They've done this time and time again, and it's really showing here.
Right, and one thing I wanted to point out, as we saw on the screen there, Yasha, he was holding off Epic on his own, right? While the rest of his team was just trying to brag up the kills. Just pointing out, support player Yasha, while the rest of his team is allowed to just brag up the kills, right? And all it really takes is one player here in this spot to just take a few shots as Epic, told them at bay. We do see Unique, they're stepping in a bit too close, a bit early, right? This move would have been fantastic if you waited for the circle to be smaller.
Yeah.
But since K still has the compound, they're just allowed to fire all these shots onto Unique, and they're losing out on it, right? If they waited, you know, a little bit longer, you can throw the smokes in advance and then drive in. But as long as the circle is this big, I think they might have, you know, shot the gun a little bit too early.
4 teams, 8 alive. Does that mean what I think it means? There's obviously not a full squad, but that's just 2 2-2s, right? It's 2s across the board.
I don't know.
It's hard to work it out.
All right, Unique has 2, Epic has 2. There's a lot of people with 2 teams alive.
Yeah, it's all 2s. That's all we got to work with. But more are going down. It's K racking up the scoreboards once again. And it's not something we say that often, but in this game and the previous game, they've been able to fight back.
Unique taking more ground here, denying the ground from Epic. He wants to have the big rockets cover. We're down to just 2 teams here. It's Epic versus Unique.
Kitsune, this is brilliant. I don't think they're aware how close Yasha
Unique
is as well.
up to 9 kills, and look at this nade. This could be the end.
Brilliant work there. Wenzi took a lot of damage. Yasha's just going to keep him at bay. More grenades coming out. Shots being fired off by Kitsune. This could be huge. Unique managed to get it done. The nades go out. And we get the noises coming across the board. Makar may have not made it through, but he gave us an interesting name. And Unique get themselves a win and a lot of kills.
11 kills right there.
Once again, proving it doesn't just need to be Old Boy. Yasha's up there. Kitsune's up there. The team play just then at the end, huge. I love it.
I'm just pointing out Epic. They managed to get 2nd place and they didn't fire a single shot. But
they probably shot, didn't get any kills.
Okay.
I'd love it if they got all the way to 2nd place and they're like, we won't shoot. We are stealth ninjas.
Right. That's the problem with when you're all just pinned down in a small spot. You don't have the option to take out, like, you know, peek up, shoot people, take more ground, box people in. They were just locked down between those cars. And all it took was one player from Unique to just, you know, Yasha, he took that rock from them, and then he could just fire shots at them whenever they tried to peek a shoot at anything. Really well played from Unique here.
Unique's becoming one of my favorite teams last, and just for little plays like that. We saw Yasha last time on Erangel, the final game, be the person that would sit there, stand at the back, allow us to rattle off some shots, keep people at bay. This time, Yasha pushed up, got in front of the rock, had grenades to fire off, while Kitsune was able to fire off the shots and keep the focus onto him. Very smart, very interesting. If they can keep this up, they're going to quickly jump up to beyond 1st place.
What a cheeky little Molotov kill here. I love the Molotov. It's so fun to use, and I don't know why, but when you see people burn alive, it's satisfying. It's like, you know, hitting somebody with a pan. I don't know why, just...
They hear the pan noise, ding, bouncing off their heads.
Or throw a Molotov into a room and just, like, slowly wait for them to suffocate. It's kind I don't know. I find pleasures in weird things when I play video games, all right? Kaka here! All right. He managed to get a few extra placements for his teams as he, you know, he gets a finish off to BML here. He managed to get a few extra points, taking down some of the members from, I believe it was Welcome to the Lobby.
Yeah.
Still not great for OBS, right? It was like a top 7, top 6 finish.
Yeah,
not what we
considering they're in a
expected
nice
for them.
spot, and that's the thing, right? They were able to stand in that upper part of the compound they had hidden there. They all chosen to take the top level. They were shooting out constantly, which meant that everyone knew where they were. So as soon as they started to move and was like, oh, we best catch up with a circle, it was almost a little bit too late because we saw them take a lot of circle damage as well.
For sure, and that's it, right? I would have loved for them to try and be a little bit more proactive early. All right. It is a valid strategy to say, all right, we're just going to try to stay alive as long as possible.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, they could have given most of the meds to one guy who could just sit and heal in the blue, expecting teams to go out. But if you want to win the tournaments, if you want to make the big play, then you have to kill the team in your building and then advance into the zone and not just expect, all right, we're going to be happy with a top 6 finish here, right? And look at this, K. Rabdini, top killer of this lobby, and I believe they were just chilling in the zone, right? They were pretty close to OBS, and welcome to the lobby, just a little bit further down, managing to get a lot of eliminations from people just coming in from the blue. FTP, I can't remember. I remember we saw 2 of them die to rotation, but they managed to get up 5 kills up to 1 player. Unique Kitsune, as we said, he had the support from his team, so he could just take free shots. And I mean, everything else is kind of evened out. We see a few kills from Old Boy, a few kills from Yasha.
Now, Rob Deeney for K, otherwise known as FromHelll. Interesting choice of, we'll have the K in there, but the FromHelll, maybe they like the burning, maybe they like the fire from hell, and they just throw a K in there as well. But either way, this is probably one of the better performances we've seen from them, right? I don't remember many games where I can say, oh, yeah, FromHelll have been doing fantastic. So this was a time for them to step it up. But even then, they had a compound for a good position. They continued to take the firing shots. They were able to take down 2 of the unique players there before we got to the end. It became very interesting. A good thing to see as well is Asterion. Lord Forgo now, both games, has been within the top kills for players on the screen. He's able to do some damage for his team here and able to get them the points they desperately need because they're fighting for survival right now, Larson.
But 2 kills is not enough if you're Asterion. You need to be looking at getting at least top 5 finishes and maybe like 10 kills plus per game because this is the last line for them. I believe they just have 2 games of... 2 games of Erangel left now, and that's it.
You just want to see Miramar. That's all it is.
We discussed this earlier. I was a little bit sad there wasn't more Miramar.
You're like, oh, Miramar, it's gone.
But no, we have 2 games left of Erangel for these guys, and I believe that is the last that we see of Group A and Group D as it currently is. And tomorrow we'll see C and B. And then after that, I think we say goodbye to 8 teams.
And that's where it's really scary, right? Because then we get down to a smaller lobby, 24 teams going up and fighting off against each other. And we can say, all right, now who's going to really dominate? Because you not eradicate some of the weaker teams, but you fight off some of these teams that may be potentially dying out early, giving away a lot of kills to some of these other teams. How can you face against a tougher, more stacked lobby on a regular basis now?
Yeah, and... all right, we've seen some of these lobbies, right? One game that stood out to me was one of our Senna games where our number 1 team had like 20 kills and our number 2 team had like 18 kills.
Yeah.
And it was just 2 teams that took out 50% of the lobby. All right, that sometimes happens when there's this big of a skill gap between the teams. But the further we go, the more teams that get eliminated. All right, we might still see some like 15 kills performing games, but those are going to be absolutely crazy in comparison to now where, all right, some teams might actually just be quote-unquote smurfing, right?
Yeah, and that's it, right? You look at it and you say, all right, you can only get away with so much. Now, we're looking at Team Unique going up against FromHelll. Now, this is very interesting because we spoke about K, a.k.a. FromHelll, having a very good game, better than we'd normally seen. 3rd in the standings, but 9 kills, 28 points overall. But Team Unique, once again, even doing less damage, still walked away with 11 kills, being a bit better with their precision shots to finish these players off, but also getting that 1st place. Team Unique are loving life right now. And by the end of this, if they can get another, just any good placement, they're definitely going to be number 1.
Yeah, I was trying to recall who was our number 1 team.
White Pulse.
It's White Pulse, but they're not in this lobby, so...
They're going to be waiting for them to shine tomorrow. White Pulse are sat here going, all right, Unique, yeah, you get a few more points, no problem. We'll play catch-up tomorrow, boys.
But I mean, yeah, Unique, they're super solid. They're,
yeah.
If they wanted to, you know, they could just hot drop, you know, maybe say, all right, this team we're afraid of. We don't like this. Maybe we should try and eliminate them, which is a valid strategy, right? If they don't want to meet that competition further down the line, you can definitely try and hot drop them and say, all right, we're going to try and ruin your game. But in PUBG esports in general, there's like a gentleman's agreement that you don't do that and everybody's like playing nice. I don't know why. I see in other genres that people are not playing nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hey, if I'm fighting for all this money, I ain't making no agreements. I'm coming and dominating. I want that money. I want to take those wins. The next thing we're going to see is who's going to take the win on Erangel. We're done and dusted for Sanhok and Vikendi. It's 2 games of Erangel coming your way. But as always, we're going to a break. So we'll see you guys shortly. And please don't go anywhere because trust me, you won't want to miss these games.
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
2 matches remain for today. We're moving over to Erangel, the map that they know the best, they understand the best. The question is, who will be the best on this map? And what it's going to come down to is more than just teamwork, more than just kills. It's going to be down to those rotations.
Whoever's the most lucky.
Hey, the RNG there, and he even dropped a wink in case you couldn't see it, because you winked with that eye, which means it wasn't showing.
There you go. Much better.
We got a wink in there. You made sure it was seen. I just had to tell them so they knew. But if they want more information, you guys know where to go. PUBGMOBILE.com. If you start with clubopen.pubgmobile.com, may help you. But overall, you can get all the information, standings, results, look at the past VODs. And if you want to watch all of the live action as well as some of the VODs, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, I highly recommend you do, because anything you miss, anything you want to see from any of the other regions, that's where you can see it all. Now, definitely, right, we covered this. Luck is not into the equation. Sometimes you can get a lucky circle, but you still have to play it well. You still have to play it smart. Erangel, for me, is the teams who, they are the best teams who show themselves on it on the most consistent basis. We seem to get around, I'd say, 60% regularity in teams that end up in like the top 5, top 6, top 4, that kind of placement-wise. But my biggest issue I see at the moment is some teams' rotations are just so poor. We've seen teams that are very good, capable teams just sit in the blue and die. Or they take fights in the blue at phase 3 and 4. Why? We question it many times. I want to see a solid, high-caliber set of Erangel games coming out here, Larson.
Yeah, and Erangel is a lot easier to play in the terms that rotations. Yeah. You feel very comfortable doing them when you're driving around on Vikendi. It's the newest map on PUBG Mobile, and it's just hard, right? You don't really know what to expect. Erangel has been out since the beginning. At least I, as a player, I know every single part of terrain. I know all the dips you can play. I know where people tend to play, right?
Yep.
So you say, okay, if one guy usually play on this hill, then it means you can drive around it. So it's just, it makes rotation easier. The terrain is good to play on. It's good to drive on. So that's just all these things adding up, right?
Yeah.
When you play Vikendi, you don't know the tendencies of all the players, right? You won't have a chance. On Sanhok, you don't use vehicles, so you go on foot most of the time. But in Erangel, you just say, people are way more consistent, and this shows the best teams. And it's honestly just because the amount of hours that all these players have played on Erangel, right?
And that's what it comes down to, because so many teams have played Erangel through and through. But I think some of these teams, they get complacent. And complacency is the worst thing you can have happen as a pro gamer. Because you sit there and go, I'm really good at Erangel. I'm going to always drop Pachinki, and it's going to work out wonderfully. Things can always change.
Yeah. One thing I just wanted to put into perspective, right? Because people say, all right, you're a pro player. You should know Vikendi in and out by now.
You should know.
You should know. And then I was like, all right, you know, in a MOBI game, you have 5 lanes. There's probably a jungle. There's a few things you can kill. That's pretty easy to get a grasp of.
Yeah.
And then like in shooter games, it's usually like pretty small maps. But PUBG maps, they're enormous. And there's no way you can learn every single tree, every single rock, unless you literally get to spend thousands and thousands of hours on those kind of maps.
And that's what you've done on Erangel.
That's what like a lot of us have done on Erangel, right? Because for the first 6 months to a year or so, it's like just Erangel.
I remember, even when Miramar first came out, I tried it like once or twice, and I just remember literally playing Erangel still, just because it was that thing you knew, right? And even in public games, it'd just be like, all right, Miramar, it was fun, but I love my good old Erangel. It's what I'm familiar with. And you kind of just played it over and over and over again.
Sure.
But now, when you've got all this money on the line, you cannot be making any mistakes and saying, well, I'm not going to practice these maps, because as you can see, yes, we get 2 Erangel games every day, but Sanhok's played, Vikendi's played, Miramar's played. I know you want some more Miramar. We'll get to that. We'll get some Miramar back in it. But overall, this is where it comes down to who is the best team across the board. Because yes, you can just kind of rest on your laurels in that sense and say, just going to be an Erangel team. But imagine if you lose by 5, 6 points, right, when it comes to it, and you get eliminated. And then you sit there and you think back, oh, if I played Erangel a little bit less and decided I would just spend a bit more time, even just 5% more time on a map like Vikendi or Sanhok, I could have rotated smarter. I could have played a better position. I could have got the loot I wanted and worked myself into a position where I wouldn't be eliminated right now. It's always those last-minute decisions, right? And I'm sure you've seen it in tournaments. How many teams are 1, 2 points away from qualifying?
All the time. Sadly, this is the way it goes. And
Yeah.
when we looked at the leaderboards today, right?
I'm loving this.
When we looked at the leaderboards today, like the top 5 spots were between like 20 points difference. Like number 1 or 2, they were only like 3 or 4 points apart.
Yeah, 3 points.
Like it's that close between the competition here, right?
The standings
and that's
are
very common for PUBG. And we're playing throughout a lot of games, right? The less games you play, it's even more close, typically.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you just have one team there's way better than everyone else, but that's typically not the case, right? Because there's so many factors coming into play, and that just doesn't allow for one team to be way better than everyone else over multiple tournaments.
Well, we are going to get some of the updated standings for you all. And Team Unique right up there at the moment in 214 points. Epic, who we also saw have a good game, 213. Like we were just saying there, 1 point separates them. But look at Team Unique. Kills, 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 kills. They were leading today, and now they've just pushed it that little step further. Welcome to the lobby, still up there. Defprmia Meditrai 99, aka 99 Problems, but certainly placement points aren't one, are looking like they may be sat there saying, hey, look, we're in a comfy position. And the teams you just saw there, they're the most comfortable teams saying, all right, we're not done. We can't like rest and chill.
They're good.
But we're in a good position now.
I mean,
at least
it's
for this
just
week.
2 more games, right?
Yeah.
The teams we just saw on the screen, they're like, all right, we've done it.
This week we're happy with.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what they need to do, right? But what if they're looking for orcs? And but we're showing it by winning the lobby, right? You shouldn't be concerned with being in the top 24.
Yeah.
You want to be in the top 2, right? We're going to get eliminated. We have this week, so we have today and tomorrow.
Yep.
Then we have 2 more weekends, and then we're going to be down to 16 teams. And then I believe there's going to be a semifinals sometimes next month. And from that semifinals, we'll have 16 teams, and it's going to go down to the top 2 that goes to the spring finals in July, where 16 teams from 10 different regions will battle for the share of the 2.5 million that has been distributed throughout this year.
That's what they're all working towards, and that's what we're working towards as well. I would love to see that action unfold in person and understand exactly who's going to be taking some of this money as we kicked things off here now 2 weeks ago, looking at this European region. As we get a bit more of a Western plane this time around, and it could leave up for Unique to decide if they want to take military base or if they're going to allow someone else to take it. Asterion have gone for the Zaki play. And now we wait and see how many teams want to gamble it or try and grab themselves an opportunity to move further over towards this eastern side. Will they go and fight and try and get Milta power? Will we see a Novo team potentially? Things can always change up based on this.
And right, we haven't seen all of these teams clash together, right? BML, they played on day 1, and they've been a Pachinki team. It looks like we have BML, BemyLoot, Storm, and welcome to Lobby Jump Away. But we have 2 teams throughout Pachinki. That's probably one of the most contested places we've seen. And if I'm seeing correctly, we have Rest and we have K in containers. The Georgiable containers, they do not have space for 2 teams.
Oh my, once again, we're going down south and to the west. But before we get into it, we're looking at Rest. We heard a few shots fired off there. They're running around, but what? How is this happening? How many teams? Storm are going to start off with the knock onto Santos. Will they just finish him off straight away? Or will they use him as a bit of bait? Will they say, come on, BML, try save your teammate here because we're ready for you and we want some extra kills on the board. As Santos is just crawling away, trying to stay alive, wanting to stick with it. But he's going to run out of time ever so quickly. BML backing away straight off the back of it. Twice has gone down as well. And this is not what BemyLoot would have wanted. Meeting this fight, not being able to loot up, and they can't even make a challenge here. Storm are playing together. They're playing it smart. And Carlo...
He actually managed to take him down with the machete.
Brilliant. It happens. But now you're on very low health. You're being pressured. Is this an opportunity?
Can he get another one, James?
He's waiting around the corner. He's trying to play it smart. He's swinging. He's like, the machete is now a baseball bat. Can I do it? Can I make it happen? Oh, he goes in for it. I respect it. It didn't work out. BemyLoot are the first team eliminated. Storm do all the damage. They may have got taken down, at least knocked by a machete, but they have walked away with 4 kills. As Rest, they have no chance to rest. They have no opportunity to rest. 2 players are resting in peace because 2 are dead already and potentially more coming out. Ghetto goes in with a jump, but it's not going to work out for him. And there is action all over this map already. Erangel is delivering. Rest are just trying to spray it down, but they'll only get it working for 1. That's them eliminated as well. And that is 3 minutes into the game, 2 teams gone, 55 players left alive, and a scary position for a lot of these teams, Larson.
All right, so the way you can look at this, right? in my head, I don't know the standings of all these teams, but they do know this is their last 2 games in this round of elimination, right? So maybe they just want to say, all right, BML, you're not coming back to Vikendi. Vikendi is my town. That's what Storm said. And when FTP and Rest are going to play again later, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Rest is going to come back to containers after they just got wiped in that kind of manner?
And that's the thing. There was like, you got not just wiped and put up a fight. You literally got dismantled.
So, right, I can understand that these teams are actually landing together now and fighting and trying to prove the point, right? Because when you have a loot spot that is not consistent and you can just have so much of a better early game, that it makes sense. And like a lot of these teams, right, they're not at the bottom 8. They have a pretty good chance of moving forward. So they can sacrifice a game or 2 to actually fight for the looting spot. As we see BKB, they were cried through the first engagement, but they found Storm here. Nate's coming in. We see one of the members, they're already low. Doctor is just holding the angle. Nate just falling short.
Uh-oh.
What? What? Why would you do that?
Goes for the run in the open. No protection from his teammates. Okay, yes, now you get into this. But it's one of the things where you say, all right, you can get rezzed up, but now you're wasting a bit of time here. Doctor wants to maybe try and challenge this, but I'd wait to see how much more of a backup he can get from his teammates here. Got to play it smart. And Storm, they found themselves 4 kills early on, but getting a player knocked now, having it low on health, having to use some meds, and also you may not have that many meds to play with just yet. It's a scary position to sit from.
I like how they're disengaging, right? Unless you really want to prove the point that they want Vikendi to themselves. I don't know, Storm, they're sitting at the middle of the pack right now, so I don't think they need to be worried, but...
That's a good nade.
That is an okay nade.
Doctor taking a lot of damage, doesn't want to poke out now, straight on the meds. He says, I didn't expect that. Luckily, no more grenades in the hand for Zandovsky. Doesn't have quite the most entertaining name like Makar. It gets you every time, doesn't it, Larson?
Throughout this entire break, we were just screaming, Kaka! And we made our production quite satisfied with it.
We're here not just for some epic PUBG Mobile action, but also some entertainment for you guys at home. And that's what it's all about, right? The perfect mix, the perfect blend. And what some of these teams don't have is a perfect blend of the disparity in kills and placement points. Because sometimes you're fighting and you're risking a lot. And sometimes that risk doesn't work out.
I looked at Doctor's name, right? He got all these special letters.
Yeah.
The only one I know how to pronounce is U, which is a Danish letter.
Okay.
So you need to figure out all the pronunciations. Instead of saying Doctor, we could probably come up with something really hilarious.
I'm going to have to see his name again, and I'll think of something when we come to it.
It's like a D with a line, and then he has the U, and then he, like, instead of just using normal letters saying Doctor, he has a bunch of weird letters. By weird, it's just not a language or letters that I'm used to or know even the meaning of.
Okay, so we've got a weird D, a UCT, a funny O, an RR. Apologies if you guys sat there going, why is he calling it a funny O and R? I have no idea what it means.
All right, so exactly, I'm from Denmark. I know what an U is. When he looks at the O with the line between, he's like, what is that? Get it out of my language.
Yeah, I have no idea. I am literally completely dumb when it comes to languages. I am a typical Brit in that sense. But one thing I will do is have some fun with it when given the opportunity. Careful, Asterion. We said you guys need points. You need to rack some up. You don't want to be killing yourself off or knocking yourself down at this point where you can see yourselves in the open being fired at.
Yeah. Driving is a beauty in PUBG, right?
It's a very good skill to have.
If you look at PUBG clips and stuff, you probably see more driving failures than actually shooting. It just happens all the time. Asterion, they're driving past Epic. Epic, one spot away. No, not one spot. 1 point away from being our first place thus far in the tournament. Unique here, really good spot, right? We saw the circle. It's all here on the western side. It has a chance of going to the melee base. So having bridge control this early is very, very nice for them. If it hard shifts to the south a few times in a row. We see K, also known as FromHelll. I'm sorry, I just need people to maybe like FromHelll, then call themselves FR. Or FH, sorry. That makes more sense. Epic here, they're getting engaged. But nothing too serious, because I don't think they're in the zone yet, and it's Circle 1. I don't want to see teams fighting here, at least not if they want to, you know, have a chance of making it to the big finals. FTP, still looting up. They're probably going to be a little bit bruised from having to kill all of Rest earlier. We see Cream Team here. They're just enjoying life. They're pretty central in the circle here.
Now, CRM is a team, right, where at least yesterday, sure, there's a couple of games where we went, all right, you guys are looking strong. Avangar again, okay, it's phase 1, so I'm not complaining. but they love to sit in Milter Power in the blue. Luckily this time, no team is there to contest the position, which means they can take a little bit more time. But when you start to rotate in now, you go, all right, I've taken a lot of damage. If there's a team waiting on the edge, we're weaker to this. It means that we've given them a chance to fight back against us in a more advantaged position. And this is where I'm really scared for them.
But let's be honest, Avangar today, they've had a terrible day.
Yeah.
They have not been performing.
100%.
And that's worrisome, right? We need these guys to be able to show up.
And look how far they've got to travel.
All right, at least they have no teams in the way to getting to the zone, right? So they're fine. And if it goes to the melee base, which it won't, then they would have easy access to it. But at least the way into the first zone is pretty okay for them.
Look what's coming from the north, Larson. And I'm not making any Game of Thrones references because this is so many teams fighting for a very small amount of space. They've really got to hope the teams that are currently within the northern circle start to reposition themselves and move further down south, because that cluster is going to explode and we could see some kills starting to happen a little bit earlier than what we normally do if that is the case.
We still see BKB and Storm. They're fighting in Chingy. Still just knocks going back and forth. Nothing too serious. We see an airdrop getting dropped in the middle of the open field. I don't expect anyone to grab that. But this is something that's funny, right? So something I've seen a lot, James, is teams, they might engage in Pachinki, but after, let's say, 3 minutes, they leave it.
Nagy! Did he blow up a car? 3 died off 1 explosion.
I didn't see that, sorry. I don't know.
Oh my god, if we can get a replay of that, I would love to understand what just happened. Sorry to interrupt you just there, because that was just, it lit up the scoreboard. He got 3, and it was the explosion, so it potentially is them finding a car.
One thing we did see was Gonzo. He knocked himself in the blue, so Avangar just stays in the blue.
Big rip.
Yeah, big rip. But, like, I pointed out, like, don't you think it's weird that teams stay in, like, 10 minutes in Pachinki to fight? It's pretty normal that people maybe stay for 4 or 5 minutes, loot up, and then they go their separate ways. But BKB here, they want none of it. I say that Storm is, you know, giving up a little bit of a fight, but looks like they're going to be eliminated. We just have Hellfire left here, running off as the rest of his team has been taken out. And BKB, they're still 4-man stranding. They just have to get a rest here onto Joey, I believe. And they're going to be happy, right?
See, Hellfire, he doesn't want to be the hero this time around. He wants to be the solo hero for the team, singing the song, I can be your hero, baby.
Ooh! Okay, sorry. I could have kept going.
He can't shoot away the pain. He can't even revive his teammate to make that pain go away. He just has to run and hope for placement points. That's the dream for him right now. And that's not a good dream to have, as BKB will eliminate them. We'll take full control. 48 players left alive already. We're 11 minutes into the game. We're just in phase 2 at the moment. And is this the replay we asked for? Oh, they were on the boat.
Oh, no.
Brilliant, absolutely huge. Nagy spraying them down. They tried to get their way around Unique. They didn't want to take that fight with them on the bridge. Tried to sneak past them, but Nagy, well aware of what's going on, and kaboom, they blasted out the water.
You hate to see it happen.
This is why you need to split it up. If they had 2-2, that would have been so much smarter. They had 2 boats.
But it was a jet ski. The jet ski is a little bit smaller, but it happens. They didn't get entirely eliminated, because we did see the jet ski here. Epic and FromHelll, they're just relaxing. Both are relatively on the edge here. Maybe trying to rag up a few more points, but since that is the edge of the zone, it must have shifted hard to the south here. Yeah, we did see it go towards the military base a little bit, but it's probably not going to be in the next few zones. Old Boy here, he's racking in kills onto 3D Max, a team that have had a stellar performance today, doing really, really good. But Unique is getting the better of them.
Unique standing strong, fighting up against 3D Max, who really do need the points, right? We keep saying it over and over again. They're one of those teams that were looking like they would be one of the first teams eliminated from this.
They definitely meant atonements for that. And now we see a hard shift to the southwest, as far away from as many teams as possible. Pretty much everyone has to move here besides OBS. Welcome to the lobby. And Unique somehow finds themselves at the center of the zone, on top of Quarry. This can be like a little bit risky spot. If the circle ends there, it's fantastic, but moving away from there, keeping your car safe can be a difficult job. But it seems like they want to completely eliminate 3D Max, say, all right, we're the better team here. They're already taking out the other members, and they're just searching all 4 alive.
And this is it. They're doing it as a team. They're looking for Palmer, and they're saying, all right, We know you're going to be around here somewhere. Let's clear out all the areas. Now, Palmer is a little bit further down. There's also OBS that they might be able to see off from a distance here. But either way, there's great potential for Unique to just rip all of 3D Max apart, get a 6th kill on the board, and sit there as kind of king of the hill right now, because they've got a great vantage point to shoot down on multiple other teams from.
But being king of the hill, do you know what that Titans and hold? It means that you need to fight for the hill. You need to defend off everyone else. And, all right, this is Circle 3. There might not be as many teams around Quarry, but as we get later on, if it ends around Quarry, there's going to be maybe 4, 5, 6 teams. And then when you're over there, you're just going to be pinned down, and it gets harder and harder to move.
So this is what happens, right? Unique, they're king of the hill right now. Say they try to back away. They're like, oh, no, I don't want to fight us anymore. They jump into Quarry. They become kings of the Quarry. But then they're like, oh, no, this is rough. We really can be fired on from every single angle. And they're like, now we're just paupers of the Quarry who get ripped apart and die.
But we did shortly see them disengage, and I like that call, right? They were trying to take out 3D Max, completely eliminate them. Just to, you know, prove a point, right? They take down the rest of the teammates, get some free points is good. But I like this. Taking off to one side, this is a lot more easier angle to hold, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit more cover. You can deny access, and we did see Asterion drive into the compound with the barn and the 1-story. And I think it was already occupied by another team, and they were also being shot by Unique here. OBS still fighting Epic. Unique. Wait, they had the Quarry. Where'd they gone? They were at the center of the zone, but they decided they want to go closer to Primos, gonna have this hill. Is Unique just like, alright, we qualified, we just want to kill everyone now? Show them why did we get picked up by an orc?
Now, just to let you know, 3D Max have worked their way all the way into 9th place overall. Looking strong for them. They've come out of that. Remember, they were like, what, 18th or 19th yesterday?
But that's not fair to say they're 9th overall, because we do have 16 more teams playing 4 games tomorrow. So they'll probably end up somewhere between 16th and 20th. Unless they obviously have 2 really, really good games now. They can prove us wrong, but they're down to just 1 guy now. I don't think they'll be anywhere close to elimination, but they really fought the way up from being 3rd or 4th to last spot to getting into what you now say top 9, which is, I wouldn't call it realistically a top 9, because they have a 2-game lead now, right? But yeah, they definitely proven a point.
So I actually like what Unique's done, right, is because they had center position. They knew a lot of teams were going to be coming in from the north, as we already pointed out earlier. So they go and reposition themselves to somewhere they feel more comfortable. And also, if it shifts away from the water, then they'll also be in a spot where they say, oh, okay, well, it could more potentially go center to us again.
Right, because they positioned themselves in the northern side of the new zone. And since the next zone cannot have any water, and like you said, it will have to go to the north. The water is in the south. And they'll be finding themselves for a really good spot in the next at least 2 zones. And if you can stay alive until Circle 6 with 4 people alive, you have a really big chance of closing out and winning the game.
I fully respect it. Will it work out for Unique? Only time will tell, as we're kind of getting towards the position where more teams are going to struggle to fight for these little bits of space. And as teams now have to move out of their compounds and find themselves a new home to sit in, more of these fights are going to start to unfold as Unique. Old boy, once again, long-ranging it up, gets out of his car, and he's shooting down onto the Epic players, who really don't have much cover to fight with here. Nagy's found one as well, and Nox coming in. And this is beautiful work. It doesn't matter where Unique's fighting from. They're doing it as a team, and they're picking off squads from great distances here. Despite all that smoke going down, Unique still want to take the shots through it. They're ready. They're hungry for more.
And I assume Unique knows that Epic are the number 2 team with just 1 point behind them, right? You want to prove a point here and take out the number 2 spot like it was nothing.
Yeah.
I would like to see Unique go a little bit more aggressive here. Asterion, they've been falling short over and over again, and as soon as they have to leave their compound, they just get picked apart by DM.
Exactly what I said, right? It was, oh, you wait, now you're in the circle, you try to move out, another team's close by. Avangar are going to go on cleanup duty onto Epic, which is going to benefit Unique a massive way here. And Epic just can't find themselves into it. FTP are also going to try and engage in this. Can Avangar hold on? They're under pressure. We've seen some good games from them in the past, but it's not been ideal for them across the board today. They need to step it up, and more players falling. This is not looking good once again. Only Gonzo left alive.
Right, Avangar have had a really bad day thus far, and they need to step it up.
What a shot by Come By Color. The distance, the range, he spots him out. He's looking for more. He believes he can deal the damage.
And if you're wondering why you typically always see pro players moving around, That is because they don't want to get shot by a sniper. And I believe the guy he
Exactly.
connected onto was literally laying prone, not even moving.
He was like, hey, I'm here. Can you see me? Do you want to take a shot?
Yeah, you can't do that. Then you're definitely going to be taken out by players of this caliber. And Avangar, they're literally just getting picked apart.
Avangar down and out of it. 10 teams remain, 31 alive. And Unique is saying, hey, look, you guys can all fight. We did the damage early on. We're not too worried about kill points. We're way ahead of any others. We'll just stay alive. We'll keep 4 into this, and we'll say, wait for you guys to come to us.
BKB, the kings of Vikendi, they find themselves fighting another team in yet another city. This time around, we're in Primos, though. And it seems like they got one knock onto FromHelll, but smoke's coming out. They're probably going to be able to get the revive. We have Fuxi here, because he has the Ö, so you have to say Fuxi. Try to say that, James.
Fuxi?
Fuxi.
Sounds like I'm going to say a swear word if I say it.
No, it's just the Danish pronunciation of the Ö, which is just the name of the letter. But here, as I mentioned previously, this circle has to go away from water, and the circle had shifted to the north, where we saw Unique previously, but they for some reason decided to go all the way down by the water. And now they have to fight their way out of Primorsk and back onto the hill. Cream up here, they're sitting fine. We see some of these teams disengaging. For some reason, okay, it's BKB in the car, but he only has 1 or 2 members in it, leaving 2 team members behind. All right, maybe it's just
only
he
him.
was.
It's only him.
Yeah, but he was close to K, right, or FromHelll, and he just wanted to be a little bit closer with his own teammates. So disengaging, not needing to fight since they're ahead of them. They can just disengage, try and get ahead into the zone. Here, we see all these teams that have to make a move on this next play zone, and they're just, you know, taking a minute. It's very important to say, all right, what do you guys think we should do? And then execute the plan. Unique here, they will have to gatekeep everyone from the south. And as I say that, we see Kitsune already taking down 1 member from BKB, I believe. They are getting shot at by Welcome to the Lobby, so they have to be careful. They have the roadblock to work with, but they have to stay near to it. We see the last member, 3D Max, being on top of Cream, but the Cream players, they're just laying down. I think they're busy with DM, trying to make their way into the zone. Suku here, he's so sneaky. These bushes and trees, laying prone on them, you're almost invisible.
Palmer has managed to stay alive for so long and keep racking up additional placement points here for 3D Max. That alone is impressive, but as these fights start to pop off towards him, he needs to be ever so careful. Smoke goes down. Zuku is going to be the one that's actually hidden a little bit better now, and he's just got to do his best to hold into it.
He must have seen this. He needs to communicate this with his teammate. He needs
Yeah.
some help. But
Back
from
me up.
what we can see, right, Zuku is so isolated from his team, and if he gets knocked here, I don't think he'll be able to get picked up.
Zuku decides to jump up. He doesn't want to take this engagement anymore. Knows there's more players going to apply pressure to him, but the question is, will Palma jump into this, or will he snake it up even further? Because they could take down these members, and it's not going to work out. DMMatic take down a CRM Zuku.
But look at how far away Zuku is from his team. It's going to be extremely hard to get him up here. Palma just spotted 2 members, and I don't think Kaylee saw him. He might have. He's acting like he did.
Carly ready and waiting for it. Shots coming out. Palmer will finally go down. 3D Max are eliminated. They go out in 9th place, but it was a well-fought chance there because he stayed away from Unique, tried to reposition himself, snaked it up as much as possible, and did the best he could in a very bad position.
All right, we're seeing OBS once again alive in the late game. Please tell me they can get out of this compound now, right? This might not be an easy task. They have to fight off BKB, Epic, actually not Epic, Team 7, whoever that is, and Unique. So OBS might find themselves having a compound until like Circle 5, Circle 6, and then after that they just can't get a break. Teams that can get a break though is Unique. They're just racking up the kills. Welcome to the lobby. They've shown up this game as well. They're stacking them up. And Unique, I think they're close to 10 kills already in this game. They've just been able to gatekeep everyone coming out of Primorsk here.
How many times do we say that? Unique are up at 10 plus kills. Like, it's just a regular occurrence. It's not something that you hear from many other teams. And this is the thing, Unique. They've got a little cheering squad in some of the stream chats that we've been seeing. They've got some big fan support coming out in it. But the question it was always whether they could deliver. Well, certainly on week 2 they have.
They have shown up and they're proving why they might deserve a spot. Welcome to the lobby here, just making it into the zone a little bit early, so now they have a chance of gatekeeping everyone else. We see FromHelll here, they're just snaking onto Cream. Cream is playing extremely passive, which is okay, you can do that, but if they now get sandwiched in between two teams, it's going to end up punishing them. When you box yourself up to playing right next to each other and you don't take any control over the zone, you can get boxed in. And when you get boxed in, it's so hard to win the game. And we see Fuxi here cooking up a nade. Sadly, he misses though. So, Misk. Okay, I'm just going to call him MPSK. Staying alive a little while longer. This nade hits him dead on though. He expected there to be a player inside. Are they going to make a move in this? Cream here, they're resting almost instantly, I believe. I haven't started the rest yet, but it looked like they wanted to. And FromHelll here, they're slowly approaching. If they had one more nade.
Nice shots coming off once again. FromHelll looking to do the damage. CRM's life is going to be over. It's not going to work out for him. And FromHelll take full control of this position. They get themselves a smaller compound to work from. But this could be vital in trying to close out this game, depending where the circle shifts. OBS under heavy fire here. They're struggling to keep themselves going. It's only going to be Woys who's trying to hold in. Eurus slowly but surely trying to crawl his way up to get some help. If they can get the revive off, that might give him a great chance as we watch Kitsune once again racking up kills, finding it possible to do further damage here. And if Unique keep this up, it's going to be a very high kill game beyond what we've seen from them so far. We already see 8. Can they make it 10 once again?
They lost one member, but they're looking so strong. I'm surprised that OBS managed to make it in. I'm not trying to be toxic, but this is the best placement they had in the last, 7 or so games.
Makar is still there as well.
Makar!
He has got the best name on OBS. The question is, has he got the best aim on OBS? That's what he's going to need, because he's now the solo player left alive for this team. He's proned. He's snaking it up. He might be able to revive Woys, but there's so many teams close to him. Unique know exactly what's going on, as do Welcome to the Lobby. 6 teams remain, and 3 of them are all very close to each other here.
I'm loving to see how aggressive Welcome to the Lobby is here. They're trying to take control of the zone. They're not playing passive.
Oh, they found him.
Yeah.
Rip.
This is how it is, right? You take control of the zone, you get a kill, you take a little bit more ground. Unique there being very boxed in right now. If Welcome to the Lobby take a little bit too much space, as you see Clips say, he just walks straight into him. He actually managed to get the upper hand for now. He knocks down Kitsune, but he gets traded. Yasha showing up big here, taking down Joe Welcome to the Lobby. But
FromHelll, they've come into it as well. They're doing so much. Kitsune's been knocked down. Old Boy tries to reply. Yasha's also going to get knocked. This is not what they wanted to see. Yasha's being finished off. Old Boy's gone as well. 4 teams remain, and Unique are down and out of it. FromHelll, they march on into the fight, and they come with full dominance and a full squad to fight this off. Welcome to the Lobby are going to be very cautious of how this has panned out, because they did not expect this to be jumped on. Now, Hellfire's also within it. You saw him in the back lines. He might be a real nuisance here, because both the solo players are right behind Welcome to the Lobby, which gives FromHelll so much room to work with here, Larson. This is going to be crazy. But he does it. He finds a knock onto Jonathan. Welcome to the Lobby under pressure. Hellfire knocks down 2 players. How is he able to get away with this? Eclipse finally takes him down, but the damage has already been done. And if FromHelll are smart, they're going to go and try and take this push.
I'm so sad to see all of these FromHelll members here, right? It looks like they're just looting up. Welcome to the Lobby. We know there's 9 people alive. They just had 2 knocks. This is your chance to take down the only other healthy team in this lobby. But instead, they're looting and now they're laying prone. All right, I'm just going to say it. This is not how you win a game.
You know you have 4. You look that there's 9 alive. Surely you go, oh, okay, well, that action just happened. Maybe we should stand up.
There is 2 knocked. Like, this is literally, like, they can take out the enemy team for free if they just advance on this, but instead they go prone and loot.
If they lose the game, I'm going to say it's directly off of that. And Nade goes out, doesn't get close enough to any of the Welcome to the Lobby players. DM Gnarly is sat there at the back, and he's kind of in the middle of these 2 teams now. Still a little bit closer to Welcome to the Lobby, but overall, he's not going to be that much of a nuisance as these nades continue to barrel out towards him. Eclipse jumps up, straight back down, being very cautious, up and down, trying to find some space, trying to see if he can see anyone from FromHelll making a mistake.
Deuce is here just throwing his Molotov, trying to get a little bit more space, but here it's just going to be a snaking battle. I do like how Eclipse is playing. He's taking a tree. I do honestly expect a lot of these people to try and take as much cover as they can instead of just laying prone in the middle of the open. Being able to just sit here and pre-fire around the trees, big opportunity to get some free kills. As Eclipse is looking towards Deuces here, but He might not have a good shot yet.
Now the supply drop landed directly towards the Welcome to the Lobby players. Question is, could any of them grab it? Foxy's going to be the first one knocked down, but instantly a reply comes in. And the weird thing is, Poser's still prone. Didn't want to jump up into it. Are they going to try and get him res back up? Time will tell. While Gnarly is still just waiting. He can even see some of the Welcome to the Lobby players in front of him. Is he going to go in for the kills? Is he going to try and get the extra points? Glumgod finds himself knocked down. FromHelll, they're continuing to deliver. They found 8 kills already, and they're looking for more, but 2 players on very low health, one being knocked down. Gnarly comes alive, and Welcome to the Lobby. They can't catch a break. It's starting to happen, and this is FromHell's chance. Eclipse gets finished off. FromHelll are ready and waiting. They do the final damage, and they take the win.
What an ending there. Gnarly, he was the biggest spoiler. He waited until he knew, all right, if I shoot now, I will be able to get one higher place for myself.
Yeah.
And all that patience really paid off for them. As you see DM here, they end up on the 2nd place rather than the 3rd place. If you might have shot like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds earlier. So really, really well played from Gnarly here. FromHelll, they managed to close out the game, but I am really disappointed that they didn't decide to push while Welcome to the Lobby had 2 people down.
They could have capitalized on the problems that Welcome to the Lobby saw there. Welcome to the Lobby had 4 alive. They came into this fight and they're thinking, oh, look, we can join this. FromHelll came from the other side. They managed to eliminate Unique, and then they had so much space. They had over 50% of that circle that was left, and then you saw it, the 2 solo players, Storm, Hellfire. This guy was a monster. Steps up, finds 2 knocked players, and that was their time.
This is my hero of the game. He was fighting a guy with an AK, and he wins with the machete.
If you dive to a machete and you've got an AK, you deserve to put that weapon down. You deserve to be slashed up. This was a rough ride for Rest as well. They won't be challenging that again, most likely in Game 2. But it will be interesting to see if they do drop that way, Larson.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I don't know 100% about the points, but if you feel like you're safe, if you feel like you're qualified, it can definitely be worthwhile as we start to make the group smaller, lesser teams in, then you can start to fight for these shooting spots if you feel confident. But I mean, after getting 4-0'd, right, you might start thinking, all right, maybe these teams have, have the key now. They have the city. We need to start looking at other things. We'll have to see. I can't say just yet. But first, if they land then again, they have to approach it another way. Here we see all of the teams that have to go to the west, have to leave the compound. Here, really nice from Foxy. Expecting there to be somebody in the doghouse, managed to take him out. Eclipse find the snake, and here we just see Unique getting pinned between Welcome to the Lobby and FromHelll.
And this is it, right? Welcome to the Lobby and FromHelll. This battle back and forth. Hellfire, the fact he was able to cause such a problem for them. They weren't aware, they weren't keeping their eyes peeled. And this is what we talk about. Awareness in PUBG is critical, especially when you get down to these final moments within the game. You cannot allow it to come down and say, one player, one solo snake can do that much damage to you, because he's costing you the game. Welcome to the Lobby lost it on the fact that they weren't aware of these other players being around, these 2 solo players that both messed up their game in very different ways.
And right, it's so hard to sometimes be like, hey, we've had this area for the longest time and nobody has shot at us. And then they keep advancing forward and just forget to check behind them. And that's how, like, ultimately 2 snakes ruined / sabotage them. And I mean, it's 100% their own fault for not clearing their bike all the time. And yeah, like you said, well played by Hellfire, well played for Kali. They really waited for the right moment to strike, right? You could have said Hellfire. He maybe shot a little bit too early because he couldn't. Like, 1v4 them, I think all of the people
that
who
was the
welcome
thing,
to the lobby
right? It
was
wasn't
alive,
1v4 for him there.
Yeah, exactly.
If maybe Carly stepped up and just saw, oh, maybe I can help him out, they could turn it into a bit of a battle. He did well to get the 2 knocks, but I think ideally he would have at least wanted to finish there. Obviously, he went down. It didn't work out for him. But either way, a crazy ending to a very fun game of Erangel. And we see it over and over again. You get these endings where teams are sat there and they have to make very quick decisions. Unique, they found themselves in such a nice spot, but overall it wasn't good enough because so many teams pincered in on them early on. And Carly's up there, 6 kills. Impressive.
Definitely. We see Naki, he stepped up for Unique. Fuxi, he managed to get a few kills here and there. I got
to ask him if you say Foxy or the way you say it.
I mean, it's written in Danish, so it has to be Fuxi now.
It has to be Fuxi now.
Why else would you write it in Danish?
You like the symbols? He just found them, was like, this is cool.
But one thing I noticed throughout this entire game, James, is unique. They got caught off guard because they were just laying next to each other. They didn't take any ground. So they allowed themselves to be flanked by teams. We saw, I believe it was... Who was the team on top of the hill? It wasn't K. They got pushed by K. Who was that? It was Cream. They were just 3 guys.
Yes.
One guy in the house, 2 guys like hugging the house. Literally watching nothing, letting teams just walk up to them, flank them, and kill them. You cannot play that passive. And it's something we see again and again. And teams, they just go prone. They don't watch any ground. And then they just get like overrun. And it happens again and again. So I want to see these teams. I want to see them be more aggressive, more confident. And all right, they don't need to, push away. But I just want to see them not being clumped up in one spot. And just like, if somebody's moving towards you, if you shoot a bit at them, you maybe throw a nade, you do some damage, then they think, okay, there's a team here, we can't just run.
Yeah.
But if you just bunker down into one little position, then you're just going to get overrun. And that happens to a few teams this game.
And now what was very interesting is I'll discuss this head-to-head in a second, but what that CRM versus FromHelll thing did, if CRM had won that, they could have been the team winning. They would have had the great position to fight from. It could have gone completely the other way. But this is interesting, right? 6 kills, but almost the same damage here. Only 100 points separating it there. 99 if you want to be really specific there in terms of numbers on it. But very little in between it. But look at the huge difference in points. 40 to 25. 3rd place for Welcome to the Lobby, which means Carly, on his own, stood up and took that 2nd place. And what a way for him to get it done. Impressive across the board as we look at Rob Deeney up against Eclipse and 3 kills each, a lot more distance traveled from FromHelll, and they were able, while traveling, to take so many kills, so many fights, and push themselves further forward. Impressive stuff from this team, and they truly are saying that, wait a second, we're fighting for survival, and we're going to make sure that we don't get ourselves in a rough spot.
Right. Really well played FromHelll. I'm still disappointed in them that they didn't push when they saw that Welcome to the Lobby had 2 knocks.
Yep.
But they do manage to close it out. A big part of that was the 2 solos, so right? That cripple, Welcome to the Lobby. They had all the momentum, but ultimately, they don't check their back. You're going to get bit by a snake.
Literally bit by a snake as well, and a very poisonous snake, holding potentially an AK or a scar. I can't remember what it was, but he was able to do a hell of a lot of damage to ensure that he could take that 2nd place. And Welcome to the Lobby, at least one thing, they're probably going to learn from that and say, I'm not going to allow that to happen again.
Yeah.
You don't have to commit one player to just sit there and watch it all, but you can just say every now and again, I'll just check. I'll just have a little look around. But what we're going to do is have a check of our own stats and knowledge as we go to a break. As always, one more game of Erangel is up for today. 5 games in total to end out week 2, where we will lose 8 teams from our 32. This is what it's all come down to, and it is only the beginning of the Club Open 29 here for PUBG Mobile. Stick with us, and we'll see you after the break.
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
3 games down, 1 to go. Our final match of Erangel coming your way. And the question is, what kind of an ending will we get? Who will be able to stand the test of time and solidify themselves not only another win, but an opportunity to bring all the action and bring all the pain? Now, if you haven't been keeping up with everything that's been going on, you can head to clubopen.pubgmobile.com, as you can see below, and check out all the action, the standings, and everything that's been happening, not just in Europe, but across the other regions as well. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And why would you want to do that? Well, you get to see some more of us if you want to watch the VODs back, but also the other regions, and catch every bit of PUBG Mobile action from the Club Open 2019 and more, all on the channel. And now the question is, which team on the next VOD will be winning this game?
One team I want to see something from, and I'm saying this with angry tone, Avangar. They have had a horrendous day. The first 2 games, I believe they went out in around 13th spot. The last game, I don't even think they made it into the top 10.
Don't think so either. No, I think it's like 12th or 13th potentially. And
so they've had horrendous games throughout the day. They need to step it up in this last game. Because, all right, they weren't at the bottom, but I also don't think they were near the top. And with these 3 games, it might actually put them very close to not making it through. And this is their last chance to not be in the bottom 8, right?
No, you know what Avangar are doing right now? They're just sat home. They're sleeping.
I don't think they're sleeping, James.
And they need to sit there and go, wait a second. We've got money to make. We've got placement points to get. We've got kills to get. Because the Avangar we saw in week 1 was so much better than what we're seeing now.
They're like consistently almost top 5 every game.
I think it was the worst position off. Okay, this is off memory. I'm doing a...
It was like 6th to 8th spot.
Right? Yeah, like I think it was like 8th spot was the worst spot they had. And then most of the games were in top 6 regardless.
But today they just...
Yeah, it's just not happened. And I'm sat there like, what on earth is going on?
One team that have showed up. It's been Unique.
Yeah. That's it, right? Unique stepped up, but Avangar have just struggled. Maybe that's the problem. They're like, oh no, I want to avoid Unique.
And 3D Max have had 2 really good games. They had 1 tough game this time around. But even then, they had a Snake that I believe they got top 8 still. So even though they had a really bad game, they lost 3 members early, they managed to snake their way in. Here, pretty good play for pretty much all the teams. Just pretty much straight through the center, starting at the top right, going to the bottom. No, starting at the top left, going to the bottom right. And all right, now it might be a little bit better for Avangar. They can go straight to Military Power. Hopefully it's not a super hard Western circle, so they might can get a little bit of a break, right? But they need to step it up here. This is their last chance.
Where's Asterion going?
Why Asterion? I thought we oh yeah, right. They're the Saki team.
Yeah. That's what I was just looking up. I'm like, you got the great plane for it.
One thing I do notice is Rest. They look to be going back to containers, so they're like, this is our loot spot. We need to fight for this. All right.
Wow.
FTP,
Confident.
you're up 1, but we're gonna bring you the pain now.
At least in that, right? I can agree with their pride of like, we're gonna take this fight, but you're not also in a position where you can say we can really expend these points. Now, 3D Max, have they made a late decision or are they splitting up?
3D Max always loot on the northern side. Like they've usually been around Severny, shooting range. And are they doing anything different? I mean, I only see Sonics now. Where's the rest of 3D Max?
Oh, they might right be under him by the looks of it. I just saw it start to move.
They're all on top of each other, right?
I was confused. And Rest already. Solke, he's taken some damage. Is he really taking damage this early on from some of the FTP players? They are fighting for this happily. Now, 3D Max going to be ever so awesome on position-wise for them. Asterion have gone for School, which, yes, sees them in the circle. They gave up Zaki. Can it work out for him?
I mean, School is a lot better position than Saki, so I would say that's a good call. OBS here, they're looting up Hospital. What I want to see is Pachinki, because we saw 3 teams at the last time. It was BemyLoot, it was Storm, and it was BKB, and they're all 3 here still, James. So these teams, they obviously feel like they have something to prove. They're like, Pachinki, it's my city. Get out of here. But fighting against so many teams in the city just doesn't seem worth it, right?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of room in Pachinki, right? And there's a lot of loot as well. But at this point, you got to decide, maybe I just give this up because 2 teams and we try and bully them out of it, no problem. 3 teams, that's a bit too crowded, man.
And also, right, there's 16 teams in the lobby. When 3 of them are in Pachinki, there's going to be so many other really good looting spots that's available.
Like School.
Like School, like Russak, I saw, and amongst many other things. And if you want to play at the top level, you need to be able to say, all right, I can be good at this video game without only looting in Pachinki.
Yeah.
Here in Yasnaya, we see Ottomans and we see Epic. Yasnaya, you can typically share between two teams. You don't necessarily have to fight the other team. You can if you want to, but here we do see on our scoreboard that FTP and Rest are trading back and forth. Right now, Rest have knocked 2 of FTP and Rest only have 1 knock. But this is just going to be resting up. Everybody's playing it safe, and these guys here, they're just going to be in such a struggle. And the funny thing about this, I think South Georgia Pool was clear. We saw OBS in the Georgia, right?
Not ideal. Sprays away, stands out in the open, firing off those shots, thinking, well, you're going to walk back into it. Well, funny enough, FTP, they're not stupid. They're not going to walk into the line of fire and allow themselves to go down. They'll battle back. Now, you may be able to res each other. Solke and Ghetto trying to work their way around, but does Ghetto have no meds at all?
I mean, it's going to be really rough finding meds here. But what I wanted to point out is, like, these teams, they could lose South Georgia Bowl, they could lose North Georgia Bowl, and they'd be right in vicinity. Instead, they're choosing to fight each other here. And when teams are fighting early, there's typically no winner. We saw a knock in Pachinki on the split screen here. They're just getting revived. Nobody's really pushing, and it's just like a stalemate where I would just say there's no real winners, right? Everyone is hurting. We see Motto. He can't even heal up because the entirety of his team doesn't even have a single med to give him. As we see Solke here. He doesn't have anything. He has a vest and a helmet, a few bullets.
Oh, no. And this is where it gets crazy, because now we've got Rest split up in a 2v2, and actually more of FTP are together. They managed to get that sprayed out position, but Solke on his own, how much more damage can he do? Fire coming in towards him. Cub by Color just about manages to survive as well.
He's out of bullets as well. He only has the VSS now.
10 bullets in the VSS. Has he got any more to play with off the back of it? The revive is going to come in. FTP certainly have the advantage here. Nade's going out, and that's quite a nice one, but it won't quite reach. Just a little bit further away. And now FTP needs to be very careful on this engage, as Ghetto is still extremely low. Larion's in a nice spot, but he's spraying away them VSS bullets ever so fast. Maybe you want to try tap, mate. Maybe just at that distance, spraying is not the best decision.
Spray and pray. Spray and pray.
You love it, Larson.
We do see at the bottom right, there's also fighting Pachinki. It's BKB and Storm this time around. I think BemyLoot, they're kind of staying back. BKB, they were down to just 1 member at one point, but it seems like they've recovered. They've gotten a few of the rests in. But Storm, they're looking like them on revenge from game 1.
Storm pushing in, looking to do the damage here. Nicely done on the first. BML try to stand strong, but Storm are going to at least take the first win against BKB, which means there's now just probably 2.5 teams in Pachinki to fight it out.
Yeah, and if you remember the prior game, it was Hellfire. He was the last member of Storm. He had to leave, and BKB actually won the first game, but second time around, Storm is winning. And here we just see this fight, right? And these teams have absolutely nothing to work with. Ironside M16, VSS, no meds, a few bullets, and they're still just battling out. And I don't think anyone has lost anyone. But look at Rest. They're pushing up in the open.
Oh, no. That's not how you want to play it. Straight out to your death. Sat in the open. Solke just crouching forward. FTP got the advantage now. He's going to try and keep himself covered for now. They do have the cover fire from Larion, which is quite a nice spot now. But as he wasted all them VSS bullets, he's just stuck with that iron sight M4.
Yeah, and they are obviously aware of where he is, so they're just hiding from him. So this is a 2v1 from Rest. They get another knock, so now it's like a 1v4 from Rest, and it's not looking great for them.
Unable to do anything from this position. FTP have full control. They've still got 4 players left alive. Muddo's even grabbed himself a vehicle to come around in. Rest, they don't know what to do. They have no idea how to turn this around.
I'm trying to bring up the scoreboard here for me. I want to see where Rest is since they want to commit to this fight.
Yeah, is it really worth it, right? That's what it's going to come down to. Ghetto gets knocked down once again. Another player, though, able to be returned fire. FTP do lose one. Can they hold on? Lavazin trying to drop the first aid kit, but another shot comes in. It's not going to work out. It's a shotgun to the chest. Mutto on cleanup duty. Mutto on the loot up as well. And FTP, 3 kills, managed to win this out quite convincingly. And Laron now, he's the solo player left alive for Rest. He was up high, but he couldn't get anything done.
All right, so looking at the scoreboard, FeelThePain are currently in 5th position.
Yep.
So they should be safe. And Rest are currently in 10th position. So these teams, they can fight here, but... All right.
Thing is, being in 10th position, Rest does not mean they're safe, because we see what the other group played out tomorrow, which some teams could leapfrog.
Yeah, but, I mean, how many spots can they really get leapfrogged behind, right? I would say everybody who's in the top 16 now is relatively safe.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously, a 10th spot and the 5th spot, I would say they're through to the next stage, at least. So that's why we might see these teams overcommit, right? They're not really trying to win this game out, they're trying to win their loot spot.
Yeah. And maybe say for future games that, hey, if you come here, we will fight back against you. This is ours. We talk about Saiyan Pride. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, well, this is PUBG Pride. And these two are battling it out. And so far, FTP have come out top. Oh, I love our production team. I love our observers. We get a bit of macaw action in here. The question is, can he get some kills? He's looking on to FromHelll. The blue's going to start doing some damage. It is only phase 1. Yura's under pressure behind the tree. It's Foxy trying to deliver the shots.
Foxy.
Fuxi, if we're going to say the O correctly, as I'm learning Danish as we do some commentary alongside it. This is the benefit of having you last, and not only knowledgeable about the game, could also teach me about the symbols within these letters. And Macaw, he's going to come away with a shot and a knock on top of it. JC trying to work around the side, spraying through some of the openings in the house. And FromHelll, they may have won the previous game, but now they're stuck in a very difficult position to fight from. They can't move out of it. Nades are going to come out towards them, and OBS may be finally able to step up here.
But they're fighting in the blue in Circle 1, James. They're literally fighting for nothing other than a few kill points. And if you lose one member, for even if you get 4 kill points, I would say not worth it, especially not in Circle 1. If you're pushing a compound, you're getting somewhere out of it, yeah, I'm all for it. But here we just see them training back and forth. OBS loses 2 members who are trying to approach the building.
If K can get away with this now, this would be huge. Macaw comes in with a couple of knocks. He's looking for some kills. Can he get some more damage being done here? The pressure's being applied. Only Foxy remains there, spraying it out, and they will get it done. Once again, we see FromHelll fall down. They had a win in the previous game, but multiple times over and over again, they start to struggle it out a little bit. And this is where you need to be able to have back-to-back good games. You can't be allowing yourself to be one of the first teams going down here. And honestly, when you look at how it was played there, OBS, they've had terrible games.
Yeah.
Today has not been good for them. And that's a team who was, what, they were in the top 8 easily? And now they're going to be sat down saying, okay, this has to be our game. This has to be our time to deliver it.
After the first set of games, they were pretty much number 1. And then they just had 2 terrible days. But yeah, one thing I want to point out, that happens 3,000 meters away from the next safe zone. Fighting this early, that far away, is just like big no to me. I'm just screaming, why are you doing this? No!
like we've been saying, right? I don't agree with it when it comes to phase 2, phase 3. But at least in phase 1, you can kind of get away with it, but now they've got to travel this distance. They're already going to start taking phase 2 damage. It's less than ideal. And what's less than ideal here is for CRM. They've got teams around them. Team 14 can't quite see who it is, just up away. But nades are coming out towards Sandro, and he's going to struggle to get away. The molly behind the rock, but he's just crawling, hoping that his teammate might be able to pick him back up. But DM are ready and waiting for it.
This is one thing I want to point out that I see a lot of people do in PUBG Mobile is right, that Molotov.
Yeah.
With that, was that a good use of it? Do you need to expend it there on the knock that is crawling away?
Not when you, okay, you seem pretty obvious where you're looking around. You've got 4 players alive. You clearly already killed one of them, so you should be able to hold in and say, well, why don't we just move forward and clear it out as a unit and just do it with bullets?
But one thing that I think a lot of players in PUBG can improve on is just use of utility, right?
Yeah.
If they stay alive to the end, that Molotov, he might have been able to push somebody away from a tree or a rock or some cover. This was just a knock. They were scrolling down the hill. They might not have had that information, but just in general, I do see a lot of utility being overused to maybe secure a knock when you don't need to use it, right?
I think CRM have just been eliminated as well.
Oh, no.
So OBS, right? They're still in
and
it, 4
CRM,
kills.
they've been looking kind of bad on the overall standings.
So CRM have 1 player left alive now. They lost 3. He's all solo. But as I was just saying, OBS, right? They're taking damage from the blue. They found 4 kills. They're rotating far in, but they do have all vehicles to play with here.
Yeah.
The problem I see for OBS is if this is not a good game for you, you're going to be really stuck in a decision of like, it's more working on other teams doing pretty badly than anything else. They're currently sat in what, 15th place?
Who are we talking about now?
Obstruction, OBS.
There looks like they're top 16 at least. But one team that is not looking good is Cream Esports, CRM. They're currently in 23rd position, and if they go out early this game, they have no chance of making it through whatsoever.
And that's not what they want, right? A team that's a team that actually at times, in individual skills and taking fights, they've been all right. But yeah, it's been less than ideal. Now, Obstruction, they have 130 points currently. And the problem was they were easily top 10 at the beginning of today. Now they've already dropped down to 15th. It's less than ideal for them.
Not looking great for them, no. And we're just going to be pointing out a few of the teams that are not looking great. Another team that is still up on the bottom after today looks to be Asterion. They're in 13th position with just 59 points. Even if they win out with a huge game here, it doesn't look like they're going to make it.
They need to eliminate half the server.
Yeah, I mean, if they kill the last 45 players and win the game, sure, you got a shot at this. Let me just check for Avangar. The reason why I'm breaking up these scoreboards is this is the last game these two groups are playing, Group A and Group D, and they need to be within the top 24 teams or they will be eliminated and we won't see anything more from them. Erangel, they're currently sitting in 9th position overall, so they should be fine.
Terrible, yeah.
So even though they had a horrendous day, I really say horrendous because it's like 3-13 places, barely any points, they managed to gather enough points that they're sitting safe. So good on them. We don't need to be worried for Avangar. That's one thing I was a little bit worried about after their performance today, but they managed to secure their spot thus far.
Question me this, Larson.
Yes, sir?
Could Avangar potentially be sat here now saying, wait a second, we could do with the extra points, but we're going to chill for the moment and not give away too much as we know we're probably secure. Is that a factor that comes into it, or do you always go all out?
I mean, if you don't want to give it away, then you should just be like, okay, we're just going to go out and kill everything. When you don't want to give something away, you're not just going to go out in 13th every round, James.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, you know, just trying to stump everybody else, like destroy all the competition by not taking it serious, you know, where you would play defensive, play smart, then you would be crushing, like trying to run over people, right? But that's not what's been happening. So I wouldn't agree with that necessarily.
I wanted to clear that up. I wanted to see how it may be.
But you get my point, right?
Yeah,
if they didn't want to give
it.
anything up, they should just be like YOLOing.
Go wild.
Go
just
wild,
like,
exactly, yeah.
Let's run across the map.
Let loose and just bam, bam, bam. Cream here. They're at the edge of getting eliminated. If they don't get a really good position this game, then I don't see good hope for them. And even if they end up winning this game, it's going to be really, really rough for them. You just get an outdrop. There's nobody in the vicinity for what we can see on the observers minimap, but there's not a chance it will go for this. There's an AWM. Oh, I love the AWM. It's so satisfying to just instantly blow up little 3 helmet people.
We don't see that many, though, being used here on PUBG Mobile overall. We've seen a few players, but it's not as consistent in what we've seen on PC, for example. As Stauber is certainly the area that's going to be kind of focused on here, at least where the circle's now gone. We've got Epic chilling on the eastern side. Welcome to the lobby, are going to be very happy, as is Unique and Storm. DM have sent straight for the area. They've got themselves in, and they're looking to hold themselves strong and put themselves into the circle instantly as they wait for other teams to fight up into it.
DM, they're driving almost straight into Storm. They're getting very close to each other, just solidifying their space in the zone. We do see here that OPS, they found FTP, and they're trading back and forth, and it looks like OPS, they're losing this battle right now.
Yeah, OBS. We said they needed to have a good game. Yes, they're in a good spot. Yes, points aren't the most beneficial for them because they're already in a nice spot, but still, they need to show their stuff here. Asterion find himself one knocked player, and this is a team who's looking like they may be eliminated off the back of these games here. They've met up with Avangar, who we've been questioned of, and said, hey, wait a second, guys, you've not delivered to the standard we expected, and now Unique are looking to take him out, but those nades go a little bit too far forward. Mackie needs to run, but it's not going to work out. Boom goes him, and the Carter smokes are down, but he's instantly eliminated. Yash is able to do it, and Unique is saying, well, wait a second, we're at the top at the moment. Should we get some more kill points? Hey, why not?
Does look like Unique is playing it slow and safe. They know they have the zone. Like you can see Yasha, who's just in the middle of the open. The only thing he has to cover is the grass in front of him.
Easy pickups there, kills and shots and grenades. Tries to take down DGR. Old boys there ready and waiting. More shots coming in. And once again, Avangar find themselves really trapped down, getting picked apart. Only 2 players left alive, and there's still 14 teams in it.
Yeah. And Avangar, today has not been the day. They need to look back on this, they reflect on what they've done wrong and what they can improve on for next week. OBS holding on to life. But yeah, Avangar, you really need to step it up in my opinion. What do you think they need to improve on? First off, the rotations, right?
100% the rotations, the biggest issue for them.
Look at Gonzo. He's right next to Leron, but he obviously doesn't know that, and he just decided, all right, this is going to be my spot. I'm going to try my best.
Leron, though, has gone from containers and got himself all the way to Stalber, inside the circle as a solo player, able to at least sit here for now. The question is, has Gonzo got any idea that he's just around the corner?
So they are moving around. They might have hurt each other, and I don't think either of these wants to fight.
They're like, please leave me alone. I just want to stay alive and get some more placement points if possible. Gonzo finds himself engaging with Welcome to the Lobby. Eclipse went on the hunt for him, but he quickly jumped up, repositioned himself, and goes back to proning and snaking it out. He does have to be careful, though, because Welcome to the Lobby are well aware that he is close by.
Yep. Gonzo clinging onto life. He's just trying to find a spot they're safe. And it seems like he's just going to settle for this corner here in the darkness. It's really, really hard to see.
Away.
Yeah, and it's just one guy remaining, right? So he won't be seeing any backup. What else is happening? Airdrop, circle update soon. You see a lot of teams are just, all right, they're clinging on, they're sitting by the edge, they're trying to stay alive. The circle is still massive, but look at how many teams are around Stalber. And look at them! All of them have to move. We just have Epic who's in and Unique who's in. Interesting here, right? I want to see Unique go towards the edge, make sure nobody goes up behind them, and then hold out the teams. If they stay near that road, they can be flanked on so easily. They need to have like the walls against the blue and just deny teams from going in.
A little bit of a fight going on between OBS. Makar comes in once again.
Makar going huge!
He's making it happen. He finds himself huge knocks, and it is working out massively. Out of nowhere, OBS in this game have stepped it up.
Wait, no. Makar has stepped it up.
Single-handedly.
Like, if you look at that, his team has 5 kills, and he has all of them, I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is Makar against the world at this point. And he might get some more as he's knocked multiple members of BML, and if they don't get revived, he's going to be up to, what, 7 kills already?
This is solid. He's just keeping himself moving back ever so slowly, proned and ready. Doesn't want to be picked off by that last BML player. As FTP, they've come up into it. Asterion under heavy fire, not working out for them. 5 kills for FTP, but he's going to find himself getting knocked down. Asterion, they're not out of it just yet. They still want to try and engage. They've got 3 players up and ready, but can they hold on? There's so many teams fighting for a small bit of space here. To the north of the circle. It's Epic who had the best spot because no one's even close to them.
I'm just looking at Unique and the minimap, right? They're going to have to gatekeep all of these teams. This is one from Team 5. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's Avangar. Gets immediately taken down. That's one. I want to see how many kills Unique can pick up here and just denying other teams to get into the zone. We see Team 11. I don't know who that is. But I believe Unique is just cleanly going to take this up. It's Asterion. Probably not the biggest fight for them. As we can see already, Kitsune takes down Tips, finishes them off, and now Asterion is down to 2, and I don't think they're in the zone yet, and we can just see Naki, he's pushing up, he's having none of it. He don't want to let anybody from Stalber get anywhere near Unique's road here. He spots out Forgo, almost takes him down immediately. He waits for the security of his team because he's alone. Will this nade connect? It's going to be very close.
Unique are so good with their utility, better than most teams we've seen here. Nagy looking to push up and try and eliminate more of the Asterion players. Old Boy's able to get it in as well, and it's once again kills galore for Unique. They're up at 7, they've got 4 alive, they've got a nice position to work off of here, and they're just waiting for teams to try and push in.
I love what they're doing here, where they're trying to swoop around to the north and make sure absolutely nobody can get out of the Stalber ruins here. We will see if they stop though. No. Gonzo finds... Does he find anyone? He finds one FTP.
Yeah,
Billy is still alive.
He's got to be careful though. He's made so much noise that they're going to be well aware of what's going on. Kitsune is starting to push up.
Looks like he saw him almost.
He's like, okay, I had some shots. I know you're close by. Yash is also behind the tree, and it shouldn't be too long before they find Gonzo. He's got to be ever so careful, especially as that circle's going to start to make his way to him.
Team that we haven't seen much from this game is 3D Max, but they're sitting all 4 alive. They have 2 kills to the name, and they're now in the top 8. The circle is not great for them. They will have to fight their way in, but this could be another great game for them. Billy here is trying to see if he can find anything, but 3D Max decides that it's time to move. They need to make a way into the next zone.
Billy is truly Billy no mates at the moment. Solo player, doesn't know where to turn. The circle's coming in close to him. He's either got to engage with Unique or 3D Max, and he's just pushing ever so slowly, just rushing forward to say, all right, I've got to do my best. I've got to try and rack up some placement points. If I'm the last to rotate round, I might be able to survive a little bit longer. There's 3D Max are under heavy fire here, and they are out in the open. DM, artillery coming all out from them, shooting up, down, and despite how many smokes are there, it's not going to provide them all the cover they need. Unique now starting to push in. They're aware of Epic's position, but Unique once again send Yasha forward with the car, provide some cover fire, and try and get yourself a nice spot to fight from.
I saw in the minimap that Gonzo is right on top of Unique here inside the zone. He might be a spoiler, but he could just be hiding here. Somehow 3D Max is still holding on to life. They have to cross all this open terrain to make it in. It seems like they managed to deal with Storm, but they still have DM in front of them, and now Unique, Yasha, and maybe even potentially Gonzo. And yeah, 3D Max, they made it to the top 6, but I think that's all she wrote. It's going to be close to impossible to get in here. Will Naki get the stress off? It's going to be very close, but they're not going to be healthy, and they're not all the way in yet. We see here Gonzo, he's very close to them. He might spot it. Some nice shots coming back from Untouched there.
Now this is crazy, because Gonzo, they knew that they had an Avangar player behind him, Unique. He's crept into the circle. There's 5 teams alive. There was 8 when he started making his way down. So just the additional placement points is huge here.
Yeah. We're into a top 5 with just 14 people alive. That means we're probably not going to have the most healthy teams. As we see, a solo player, Palma, is moving up next to Unique. We also have Gonzo.
He's not got a lot of health left to fight with. He does go down. Now 4 teams remain. Gonzo, the solo player here, trying to do his best for Avangar. Epic, they've been able to control this area for so long. And what a position to fight from. Even Unique are going to struggle to find a way to break that.
It must be Gonzo throwing these smokes. How does Unique not know there's a player right next to them, right? Gonzo just been laying in smokes for the longest times.
They saw him earlier as well. They knew, they heard what he was doing.
Finally, they take him out. And we're down to 3 teams. Epic versus DM versus Unique. And look at who got the zone. I believe it's Epic inside the compound. They have all the real estate in the world. I want to see them be proactive, right? They want to try to deny what Oldboy is doing right now. They don't just want to let him walk in for free.
Oh, Kitsune still able to deliver damage onto Spear. As soon as he pokes out, shots come his way. And despite Epic having the zone and having a very good compound to fight from, they are at the bottom of this hill, which means a huge high ground advantage for both Epic and Unique. And look how DM are using the vehicles here. This is brilliant. Kitsune jumps in as well. This is all happening at the same time. Kitsune jumps in for cover, is able to find it, does manage to stay alive. And DM start to push up onto Epic. This could work out huge for him. Epic trying to fire back. Matic's the first one to get knocked. More shots coming in. But Epic, they just want to hold on to this compound. They weren't expecting this fight to come in now.
I was about to say I love how Epic is doing it. They're being really aggressive. They're not just allowing them to get run over. But Tron misses some very, very crucial shots here. Hopefully he can finish up Oldboy with the nade here, but that should have been a kill.
Oldboy's going to have to run out. Spear should be able to try and clean this up. He runs out of the tree, avoids the nade, and goes straight back onto it. But does he give him a little bit of an inch to fight off on? Tron is looking for a small pixel perfect shot to try and make happen as Kitsune manages to take down Nagi. Not what you want to see happen. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. 10 players alive. Epic, they've definitely got the position. And now DM have found themselves on the low ground in the way they rotated back into this circle.
Yeah, and actually looking at this new circle, Unique are pretty good in here. Unless they get flanked, we might see Epic and DM clash here very, very soon.
It's a waiting game for everyone involved. Oldboy and Kitsune, the only players left alive for Unique.
Yeah, Blue's pushing in here, and we see that Epic, they're almost being funneled into DM here. It's really hard to determine who's exactly in the zone here. It might just be that nobody really has to leave. And we're going to have like a stalemate, a Mexican standoff, but DM, they're being proactive. They got a knock. They want to take out Epic right here and now.
Wenzi pops out, instantly goes down. Gnarly managing to get it done. Warfarin in there as well. Matic at the same time. Epic. It's game over for them potentially. Unique with 2 players left alive. It's only Tron for Epic. And he's got to do something more than just a heroic play. He needs to be able to sneak up on DM, who have taken control of their compound, and they've done it oh so well. Unique They've not moved. They know they've got a good position to play for on the circle. They're going to wait for people to come to them. Kitsune finds the knock onto Nokes. Can he get away with another one? Kitsune's come on with it. Can he do some more damage here? This is huge. He's been given so much room here and evens up the odds just a little bit further as Tron is just waiting it out.
1 from Epic, 2 from Unique, and 3 from DM here. And Unique, I don't want to say you should be looting in the blue right now.
Kitsune, what are you doing?
We're praising you guys. Don't do it. All right. Old boy here. I love it. You want to be proactive. You want to take space. I would love to see him take the tree, right? I always praise that you want to take cover. And just laying prone in the open, you might get one, but it's so hard to get multiple kills here. Tron, he's being pushed out. He's going to be dealt with very, very shortly. And we're going to have to probably see a fight between DM here and Unique. But Unique, they've had a lot of time to position himself. Oh, no. What? Okay, it's smoke grenades. I was afraid. I was waiting.
You heard the pin, you're like, what?
Because it looked like he was trying to throw it into the garage, right?
Kitsune's gone down, though. They're trying to finish him off, an easy one for them to find. Old Boy has got a very nice position. It's DM and Epic they're going to have to move out. So Old Boy is playing for the points. He's playing for this chance. Nade's going out towards Tron.
It's a smoke. For some reason, they're smoking off Tron.
They're giving Tron cover. They're like, you can stay alive, Tron. We'll let you have it. Don't worry, mate. Bit of space for you.
3 seconds until the blue starts moving, and this is DM's game to win. They have all the advantage here.
Old Boy's got himself up, though. He's moved a little bit further center. Now, that surely was a grenade out towards him.
No, it's just smokes, I believe.
So tons of smokes. They could even give Old Boy cover here. Old Boy doesn't want to sit in the blue. He pops out for a few shots. Matic starts to push up close to him. He needs to be careful. They know exactly where he is. Tron is still alive. He's trying to work it out, but it's not going to happen. Old Boy goes down, and DM do get the win. Second place for Unique, and Tron did actually die just before from the blue. He wasn't trying to challenge it. He wasn't trying to fight. And Epic, though, and Unique, the most consistent teams of today.
For sure. Epic's been quiet in the kills today, but they've been managed to just predict the circle really, really well. Their rotations are on point. They always manage to find themselves in a really good spot. I believe we saw DM with 15 kills, Unique with another 11 kills. And these teams are looking good. These teams into today are top 3 in this game. And like you mentioned, they were top 5 also coming into today. And especially in Erangel, we start to see this consistency of the same teams. We do have, you know, some blunders on Sanhok and Vikendi, but Erangel, it's always the big dogs that come in again and again and again. It's
exactly what we were saying at the beginning of today. We get a bit of crazy, chaotic plays come out in Vikendi. Sanhok sometimes is a bit of fun, sometimes a bit random in terms of just teams still seem to struggle on where they want to go and how they want to play it. But when we get to Erangel, that is where the teams that we consistently see racking up the scoreboards come alive and show their stuff time and time again. Biggest praise from me has to be towards Unique, then straight after them at Epic for today. Honestly, biggest disappointment between Avangar and OBS. Yes, they're safe on points. Yes, they're going to see themselves through to the next round and the next week. But overall, they did not deliver to the same level this day.
No, and that might be worrisome, right?
Yeah.
A lot of esports, a lot of games in general, we talk about momentum. And one thing that can be really devastating to a new team especially is if they have a really solid performance, right? They might just try to over-adjust.
Yeah.
Because in PUBG, maybe if you make a call, let's say 8 out of 10 times it works, but then 20% of the time it might not work. And if you're a newer team, not as experienced, you might be like, oh no, we need to completely readjust. And then you over-adjust, and then it becomes like a bigger issue than it actually is. But all we can wait and do is, you know, wait till next week, see if Avangar can come back on track.
You're just trying to talk about the analyst / commentator, right? You just want to say his name, a fellow Dane of yours. As we look at the results on our final game of Day 2, Week 2, and DM walk away with 45 points, 15 kill points, a strong game from them. 33 for Unique with 11. EpicGang, as we keep saying about Epic, they don't massively go in for the kills, but they play a smart game, walking away with 22. Avangar, off the back of the one player left alive, Mr. Gonzo, creeping ever so slowly forward, manages to bag them 17 with just 1 kill point in there. 3D Max again. I think every single game was at least a top 8 for 3D Max this time around.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the Vikendi game, but they won the first one, obviously, right? And then they had the snake in the last one, and then this game they got, what, top 6, top 5?
Yep.
But I can't remember our
third game? The first Erangel one?
No, Vikendi, right? The Vikendi is the one I don't recall.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they've just, like, consistency is there, right?
Look
If you
strong.
win one game and you get, like, almost a 5 in all the remaining one, that's been a good day for you.
You cannot complain about it at all, as the BuzzKillBros, who did have a couple of good games in week 1, struggled to even get a point there at the
They
end.
got wiped out in Pachingi. They
Yep.
won the last round, but this time around they fall short. And here we see DM. Like, this is in-game they're called DM. Here they're called 99.
99 problems, and their name seems to be one. DM99, they're getting some damage, they're getting some kills, but they did get away with 45 points. Unique close to them once again. And honestly, Unique, we see they've got a great cheering squad here within the stream chats. They're heavily supported, and they are really showing us why. In week 1, they had some good games. It wasn't terrible, but it was nothing to this level. They have impressed beyond what I ever expected this week, and I am excited to see what happens when we get them down into the further weeks throughout the Club Open. And DMmatic up against Nagy. Both going quite a fair amount of distance, but the damage being done there, you can see Matic was picking up the pieces to get 6 across 1,000, while 3 went Nagy's way, and in the end, he was the one that died to the car of his teammate throwing off towards him. Sometimes that just happens. It gets chaotic at the end.
Definitely. And I mean, sometimes you just have to send it and hope for the best. And that's kind of what happened to both Unique and 3D Max there, or even DM. They were just, they had the vehicles and were like, all right, if we run, we die. We just have to send it and hope for the best. And in those chaotic moments, I mean, casualty happens. It's just how it works.
Now, this brings us to the end of day 2 of week 2. We've got to this crazy point now where tomorrow we decide the 8 teams that will be kind of eliminated from this last one. Who are some of the teams you're really scared for now?
I mean, some of the teams that I think we already let go of would be like Cream, since they were all the way at the bottom. They were in like 23rd. Asterion, they weren't even in the, like, they were in 32nd before this game, so they're out. And then I'm not 100% sure. These are the 2 teams that looked most unaware, at least.
And obviously things can still change, because tomorrow we'll see the next 2 groups play, and they'll be battling out to ensure that some of them can stay surviving. And this is where it will be the real crunch time, because the teams that have played today will be looking at it and saying, okay, we're in a good spot now, but these guys have still got games to play. They've still got 4 games to play. Oh no, it could be the end. But what isn't the end is the content that you can get from the Club Open. Do check out our website as clubopen.pubgmobile.com, and also subscribe to the YouTube for all the juicy content and action that's coming out of here from the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. Me and Larson have had fantastic amounts of fun. We've had macaws across the board. We've had OBS actually kind of have a better game at the end there. We've seen teams step up. We've seen teams drop the ball. But the question is, how's it all going to play out at the end of week 2? We hope you guys will join us tomorrow. Keep checking out the other regions as well. The action has only just begun, and they're all fighting it out for $2.5 million. We'll see you guys tomorrow.